Hello everyone, I'm very glad that you listened to my story. Please give me a follow and like the video if you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment and provide feedback so I can improve the sound quality. Yes, I will now continue the unfinished story. Chapter 21. Aurora Tower. Ashburn's results. White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade. A White Platinum Tier Intermediate Grade Architect. A top talent of the human race. Jojo looked at Zhao Changshao's interface and could not help but sigh. This old man had almost reached the limit of the human race's potential. He looked at the other party's skill panel. There were dozens of construction skills. This is someone whom you call a real professional. Previously, he had obtained the blueprints for the residence, warehouse, and blacksmith shop from the upgrade of the Lord's wooden house which he could not use. This big shot had all his skills and more. He would give these 3 blueprints to the Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Architect. Jojo thought. Then, his gaze landed on the last skill in the skill column. Kingdom Level Building, Aurora Tower, White Platinum Tier Intermediate Grade. It was also the only Kingdom Level building in the opponent's skill bar. He opened it curiously. Building name, Aurora Tower. Building level, White Platinum Tier Intermediate Grade. Building function 1, Light Energy Reserve Device. Absorb light elements and store them in the Light Energy Reserve Device of the Aurora Tower to collect attack energy for the Aurora Cannon. Building effect 2, Aurora Cannon. Ray mode. Activate Aurora Cannon and continuously release light elemental energy, forming an extremely penetrating aurora ray that sweeps through all enemies in range. Building effect 2, Aurora Cannon. Polarity mode. Activating Aurora Cannon, instantly releasing all the light element energy in the energy storage device. Concentrate on one point to kill the enemy. It can kill anything below the extraordinary tier. Remark: the Aurora Tower has a range of 100,000 meters. Building upgrade: 50,000 units of wood, 50,000 units of fine sand, 100,000 units of metal, 100,000 units of stone, 100 units of white platinum tier aurora crystals, 50 white platinum tier mist core. Architecture description: a building of the Aurora tribe. It is also the only kingdom level building in the Aurora Kingdom. It plays an indelible role in the establishment and expansion of the Aurora Kingdom. Jojo's eyes widened. It could kill any enemy below the extraordinary tier. What a powerful and exclusive kingdom-level building. However, he frowned slightly when he saw the materials he needed. Aurora crystals. He had never heard of such a material. It was probably some high-level material. He made a mental note to ask the World Channel later to see if any lord had it. Then, Jojo brought everyone around the territory and communicated the basic situation in Blazing Sun City. The others were responsible for listening and occasionally asking questions. After he finished speaking, everyone immediately started discussing. It seems that my lord's territory lacks a lot of basic building facilities. Zhao Changshao stroked his white beard and said. Exactly. We'll have to depend on Elder Zhao now. Don't worry about the materials and mist cores. There are a lot of them in the territory. Jojo said. He now had more than 70,000 units of basic materials and 5,664 black iron tier mist cores in his territory. It was enough to build these basic buildings. Leave it to this old man. However, I need the Lord to arrange some people for me. Zhao Changshao nodded in agreement. Okay. Jojo nodded. Then, he handed the 4 unemployed male subjects to Zhao Changshao. My lord, Senior Zhao. Can I be an understudy to Senior Zhao? Qian Du, a black iron tier elementary grade architect, asked nervously. He was only 18 years old, still giddy from both nervousness and excitement. He originated from the Aurora Kingdom and was an unorthodox architect without a master. He had long heard of this honorary president of the building association and had admired him. Therefore, when Zhao Changshao appeared in front of him, He immediately had a bold idea. If he could learn from this old senior and even acknowledge him as his master, then he would no longer have to explore the path of an architect alone. This was undoubtedly crucial to his career path. Jojo and Zhao Changshao looked at each other and smiled. Both of them could tell what this person was thinking. However, they were not disgusted. That will depend on the Lord. Zhao Changshao smiled. Qiandu immediately looked at Jojo nervously. You can be Elder Zhao's assistant. He has no use for these 3 building blueprints. Take them. Jojo handed the blueprints of the residence, warehouse, and blacksmith shop to Qiandu. Thank you, Senior Zhao. Qiandu was extremely excited. Elder Zhao, what are you going to build first? Jojo asked. Don't worry about the residences. Those tents still work. Let's build a black iron tier intermediate grade medical hall first. Even though we have life potions, the production rate is low at the moment. Moreover, life potions can only heal and not treat illnesses. It just so happens that we have a black iron tier intermediate grade doctor here. A doctor and a medical hall are the true methods of treating and saving people. After the clinic is built, we'll start building warehouses, homes, and other buildings. Zhao Changshao pondered for a moment and suggested. Jojo nodded, feeling very comfortable. Normally, if he wanted to build a medical center, he needed a medical center blueprint. If he just relied on killing monsters to obtain the blueprint of the medical hall, he did not know when he would be able to obtain it. Everyone was fine now, he did not have to worry about the blueprint with Zhao Changshao around. He could directly build it. In the foreseeable future, he would save a lot of building blueprints because of Elder Zhao. After that, Jojo stopped chatting and brought the remaining 4 subjects without profession to the gnome alchemy workshop. Ashburn, I brought you the helpers you wanted. When Jojo entered, he realized that there was no one in the shop. He told the 4 of them not to walk around casually, then walked to the door of the nearby studio. When he opened the door, he saw Ashburn working on a half-finished mechanostrider at the workbench. He called out to him twice before realizing that Ashburn did not respond at all. Jojo raised his eyebrows, then he came to the opposite side. Ashburn's eyes were red, and his gaze was focused on the mechanostrider in front of him. He kept assembling the mechanostrider, as if he had not slept for a long time. Ashburn. He raised his voice and used some mental power. Ashburn, who was in a state of concentration, trembled. Then, he raised his head and looked at Jojo. My lord? When did you arrive? He was surprised. How long has it been since you slept? Jojo looked at his bloodshot eyes and said. I haven't slept since the last time we met. If you don't sleep, you're going to die. Don't work anymore. Go to sleep. Jojo said solemnly. I won't die so easily. I can still. Are you going against my orders? Jojo glared at him. Ashburn's tone faltered, then he said helplessly. Yes, my lord. I'll go to sleep after handing over the potions and mechanostrider I've made during this period to you. Jojo nodded slightly. Then, Ashburn brought Jojo to an underground warehouse. This is my alchemy warehouse, specially used to store alchemy items I have yet to sell. My lord, take these with you. Ashburn pointed at the boxes of potions and rows of mechanostrider in front of him. He was both tired and proud. Jojo went forward to check. A moment later, the inspection was complete. A total of 40 health potions, 10 energy potions, and 10 mechanostriders. Jojo found it hard to imagine that this was created by a lone gnome in less than an entire day. These potions will be very useful in conquering the Scarlet Lord. I'll remember your contribution. Still, Ashburn. I know you want to share my burden, but our territory is doing well. I don't need you to work so hard for the time being, our territory will have a wonderful future. I hope that both you and I can see that future. but you will not be able to see it if you collapse from exhaustion halfway down the road. Jojo said. Ashburn froze, then, a smile appeared on his face and he nodded vigorously. Jojo did not say much. He placed the white platinum tier advanced grade racial talent sphere and a skill book on mental manipulation on the table. Then, he told him that the helpers he needed were in the shop before leaving. Chapter 22. Linger's Lord Talent. Prepare for battle. After Jojo returned to the Lord's wooden house, he opened the marketplace and set up a deal for 20,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat. 10,000 units of meat were used to purchase 4 basic materials. The other 10,000 units were used to purchase materials to make aurora crystals, life potions, energy potions, mechanostrider, and golden corpse water. A total of 20,000 units worth of deals, ranking first in the number of transactions. It instantly caused a heated discussion among many lords. World Channel. F***CK. Did you see Big Boss Blazing Sun's new deal? This time, it's 20,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat. Every time I see the transaction volume of the Lord of the Blazing Sun, I feel that it's ridiculous. Is there a possibility that the Lord of the Blazing Sun is cheating? The person above, can you post a link? Should I open one too? Do you think the Supreme Will is blind? Why would the Supreme Will allow cheating? I can eat meat again. Thank you, Big Boss Blazing Sunday. To be honest, it's precisely because Big Boss Blazing Sun sold enough meat that a slow-moving person like me can snatch it to fill my stomach. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I love you. It'll get better. I see more lords selling meat in the marketplace now. Speaking of which, what are aurora crystals? Jojo was also reading the comments in the World Channel. It's the third day. There are more lords selling monster meat now. Their prices will probably drop soon. Jojo thought. However, he was not too worried. There were billions of cerulean planet lords. No matter how much the price of meat dropped, he did not have to worry about not being able to sell his monster meat. He, who controlled most of the meat transactions, would always be the one who made the most money. He had just closed the trading panel when the spiritual medicine lord from yesterday sent him a message. Spiritual medicine lord, Big Brother Blazing Sun, do you have time to trade? Linger has the blood origin flower and the blood clotting grass. Lord of the Blazing Sun, you have blood clotting grass again? I want them all. How many do you have? Spiritual medicine lord, 800 units of blood origin flowers, 200 units of blood clotting grass. Lord of the Blazing Sun, 0.0. Lord of the Blazing Sun, may I ask if your lord talent is related to medicinal herbs? You can choose not to answer. It's fine, it won't affect our deal. Spiritual medicine lord, it's alright, big brother. Linger's lord talent is to grow herbs. The other party sent a screenshot of her lord talent. However, he could not help but look over curiously. Lord talent, Divine Herb Garden, legendary tier. Divine Herb Garden, your territory has a special building, the Divine Herb Garden. The herbs planted in the Divine Herb Garden will automatically form the most suitable growth environment around the herbs, and greatly reduce the growth time of the herbs. The time reduction for each quality medicinal ingredient is as follows. Black iron tier medicinal herbs, reduces growth time by 99.9%. Green bronze tier medicinal herbs, reduces growth time by 89.9%. White silver tier medicinal herbs, reduces growth time by 79.9%. Yellow gold tier medicinal herbs, reduces growth time by 69.9%. White platinum tier medicinal herbs, reduces. Legendary tier medicinal herbs, reduces growth time by 69.9%. Jojo's mouth fell open. Wasn't the effect of this lord talent too ridiculous? No wonder this spiritual medicine lord could bring out so many blood origin flowers and blood clotting grass in a day. She planted them by herself. Moreover, this was the second legendary tier lord talent he had seen other than himself. She was indeed very strong, as expected of a legendary tier lord talent. However, Jojo still felt that his lord talent was stronger comparatively. After all, his 100% drop rate could drop the talent of other lords. In the future, he might even be able to possess mythical lord talents. At this moment, Jojo suddenly had an idea. He thought for a moment and typed. Lord of the Blazing Sun, your lord talent is very strong. Don't casually expose your lord talent to others in the future, or it will attract great danger. Spiritual medicine lord, Linger knows, but I think you're someone I can trust, so I told you about my lord talent. Lord of the Blazing Sun, that's the same. No matter who you meet in the future, don't tell others about your lord talent so readily. Even if you're already very strong in the future, you have to keep your lord talent a secret. I won't tell anyone. Spiritual medicine lord, thank you, Big Brother Blazing Sunday Linger understands. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I also want to make a deal with you. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I might need many types of medicinal herbs in the future, so I want to have a long-term working relationship with you. You'll be in charge of providing me with medicinal herbs, and I'll be in charge of paying you. Spiritual medicine lord, alright? Linger also wants to have more interactions with Big Brother Blazing Sunday. Spiritual medicine lord, even though Linger already has 15 subjects, Linger still wants to talk to the people of the Cerulean planet. Spiritual medicine lord, but the other lords don't pay much attention to me. Only Big Brother Blazing Sun, not only do you pay attention to me, but you also care about Linger. Spiritual medicine lord, anyway, thank you, Big Brother Blazing Sun. Who would dare to ignore you if you tell them about your lord talent? Lord of the Blazing Sun, I'm fine. By the way, how many professionals do you have now? Spiritual medicine lord, not a single one. The subjects summoned by Linger are all without professions. Lord of the Blazing Sun. Isn't this too unreasonable? However, he also had a thought. Such a rare legendary tier lord talent holder shouldn't die in the novice lord test 4 days later just because she didn't have the strength of a military profession, right? Lord of the Blazing Sun, you shouldn't be lacking in food with the transaction yesterday, so I'll exchange something else with you this time. Then, he took a screenshot of the item information of the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate and sent it to Linger. Lord of the Blazing Sun, how about this? Hundreds of millions of kilometers away in the spiritual medicine city. Linger looked at the information on the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate and could not help but widen her cute eyes. Even though she was young, she was not stupid. Naturally, she knew that this class change certificate could save her and her subjects' fates in the novice lord test 4 days later. She hesitated for a moment, then typed. Spiritual medicine lord, I really want it, but Big Brother Blazing Sun also needs it, right? Lord of the Blazing Sun, don't worry, I'm not lacking in this kind of class change certificate. Not only that. During this period of time, the number of Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates in his hands had reached 2,298. Therefore he had no use for it for the time being. It was not a problem to take out a portion of it to trade. Moreover, they now had a working relationship. Jojo could not bear to see a child die in the mouth of the fog monsters 4 days later. That was why he took the initiative to use the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate as a bargaining chip. 800 units of blood origin flowers and 200 units of blood clotting grasses. Jojo exchanged 20 medicinal herbs for 1 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate and used 50 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates to trade with her. The transaction was completed and both sides were happy. Another half an hour passed. In the marketplace, JoJo's 20,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat had all been traded for the corresponding materials. A total of 44,000 units of wood, 36,000 units of fine sand, 40,000 units of metal, and 80,000 units of stone. In addition, there were 560 sets of materials for making mechanostriders, 850 sets of medicinal herbs for making life potions, 750 sets of medicinal herbs for making energy potions, and 100 sets of medicinal herbs for making golden corpse water. These materials came easily. JoJo looked at the transaction results and felt very happy. The only pity was that he did not receive any aurora crystals. It seemed that this thing was indeed quite rare. Even billions of cerulean planet lords had yet to obtain it. 3 hours later, Bai Yi and the others ended their rest. JoJo did not waste any time. He led all the soldiers, Nazario, and the Black Iron Tier intermediate grade doctor to the location of the Desert Fog Lizard leader. Chapter 23. The Scarlet Lord also has a Lord talent. Half an hour later, more than 600 soldiers stood in the desert with 9 mechanostrider and 9 homemade simple wooden carts. The leader was a handsome young man riding a mechanostrider. A black and red dragon half the height of a human stood beside him. The 601 soldiers behind the young man looked unto him with respect. When they saw the black and red dragon, they could not help but look surprised. Is this the legendary dragon race? It looks so domineering. His lordship is really powerful. He can even subdue the dragon race. Silence. Bai Yi said sternly to the soldiers. Then, she rode on the mechanostrider towards JoJo. My lord, this is the territory of the Scarlet Lord. She said respectfully. JoJo nodded and looked into the distance. A simple and crude territory stood a kilometer away. He could vaguely see a few buildings with different styles. About 200 desert fog lizards were densely packed around these buildings, just as Bai Yi had reported. There's no cover. Looks like we can't launch a sneak attack this time. However, this desert fog lizard leader's territory doesn't have a novice lord protection barrier. There's probably no need for a sneak attack. JoJo pondered. Then, he turned to look at the soldiers behind him. Is everything ready? Yes. The soldiers roared in unison, their voices shaking the clouds. It even alarmed the distant desert fog lizard territory. The desert fog lizard seemed to have smelled something bad and crawled over with hostility. JoJo did not mind. He had wanted to attack head-on anyway. Then I won't waste my breath. You've slaughtered these reptiles countless times. You should be confident that they are not your match. Charge and destroy them. JoJo shouted. Kill. Kill them. Destroy these reptiles. The soldiers roared and rushed out. Only 5 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade soldiers and the Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade doctor remained beside JoJo. JoJo jumped down from the mechanostrider and patted Nazario's head. Nazario had doubled in size in less than 2 days to his surprise. He wondered what Nazario would be like when it reached its peak. Don't be impatient. Wait for their leader to emerge. That's when you hunt. JoJo said. Nazario nodded excitedly and expectantly. However, its body still emitted wisps of red steam that smelled of sulfur. In the distance, the soldiers led by Bai Yi had already encountered the desert fog lizards that had run over to check on the situation. These desert fog lizards were crushed by the soldiers and died without knowing how they died. At the same time, the desert fog lizards in their own territory looked at the torrent of soldiers rushing over from afar and were instantly stunned. However, they were bloodthirsty by nature and did not know what fear was. Hence, they stuck out their tongues and glared at the charging soldiers. At this moment, in the center of the territory, in a wooden house with a savage and bloody style, a scarlet desert fog lizard that was 3 to 4 meters tall and more than 10 meters long slowly crawled out. It looked at the soldiers rushing over from afar and was suddenly furious. What an angry roar! All the desert fog lizards, which seemed to have received an order, waved their limbs and charged fearlessly at Jojo's soldiers. In the distance, Jojo narrowed his eyes and looked at the desert fog lizard leader. Monster name, Desert Fog Lizard Leader, Shwetshot, Scarlet Lord. Strength level, Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade. Monster description, one of the 3 Scarlet Lords of the Blazing Sun Desert. It has many Desert Fog Lizard subjects under his command. He has obtained powerful strength after gaining favor with the Scarlet Lord. Loots, 10 units of Green Bronze Tier Mist Core, drop rate, 100%, 1 unit to 100 units of Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Desert Fog Lizard Leader's Flesh, drop rate, 20% to 0.1%, 100 kilograms of water bags, drop rate, 3%, 1 Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Sand Trap Technique Skill Book, drop rate, 0.1%, 5 Gradeless Sword Shield Warrior Class Change Certificate, drop rate, 0.1%, 3 Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Sword Shield Warrior Recruitment Book, drop rate, 0.1%, 1. Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Alchemy Potion Formula Blood Eye, drop rate, 0.1%, 1 White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, drop rate, 0%. There were many loots that could be dropped. Among these loots, the one that attracted Jojo the most was undoubtedly the last one. When he saw the last loot, Jojo was stunned. Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. The Scarlet Lord also had a Lord Talent. At the same time, Nazario, which was originally beside him, was nowhere to be seen. In the distance, the main forces of both sides quickly collided. An intense battle was about to break out. The desert fog lizards pounced, bit, hissed, crashed. All kinds of barbaric combat techniques were used. On the other side, the sword shield soldier used the sword shield combination technique to defend and counter-attack in an orderly manner. Lu Chong brandished his spear like a dragon, slaughtering his way through the monsters. The crossbowman stood not far away and drew his crossbow. One arrow could seriously injure a desert fog lizard. Bai Yi's performance was the most eye-catching. She dotted around the edge of the battlefield like the wind on her Mechanostrider. She was like a green god of death, reaping the lives of the desert fog lizards. She relied on her mount's mobility, accurate crossbow skills, and powerful strength. Even those who were lucky enough to survive were quickly poisoned to the ground by the poison from the crossbow bolts or killed by other soldiers. Bang! Bastard monster! I'll kill you! The sounds of weapons entering the body, the roars of monsters, curses, collisions. All sorts of chaotic sounds could be heard. The center of the battlefield had become a bloody meat grinder. However, Jojo still had the advantage. There were more of them, and they were also wearing military equipment that could effectively defend against most of the sharp claws and teeth of the desert fog lizards. It could even withstand the impact of some monsters' collisions. Desert fog lizard territory. The desert fog lizard leader narrowed its eyes. Its gaze fell on the crowd, then it suddenly stomped on the gravel under its feet. A few hundred meters away. The soldiers who were fighting hard suddenly realized that the desert under their feet was quickly sinking into a huge pit 4 to 5 meters deep. Unable to maintain their balance, they fell one after another and more than 10 soldiers were injured immediately. The desert fog lizard leader raised its claws, wanting to do the same thing again. Suddenly, it felt heat above its head. It looked up only to see a 1-meter-long dragon swooning down from the sky. Boom! An invisible and terrifying pressure emitted from this dragon and instantly descended on the body and soul of the desert fog lizard leader. Dragon's might. At this moment, the leader of the desert fog lizards trembled. It couldn't even escape. Its eyes were filled with fear while excitement flashed in Nazario's eyes. It suddenly swooped down. This scene was like a world-famous painting. There was clearly a world of difference between their sizes. Nazario was like a hunter, while the huge desert fog lizard leader was like a helpless rabbit. In the face of the impending life and death crisis, it could do nothing other than tremble. The next second, the moment the two sides approached each other, Nazario suddenly stopped in midair and suddenly opened its mouth. A faint red light appeared from its throat. The surging hot magma dragon breath spewed out of its mouth and covered the head of the desert fog lizard leader in the blink of an eye. 3 to 4 seconds later there was a loud bang. The desert fog lizard leader fell to the ground weakly. The part of its head had been burned away by the magma dragon breath, leaving only drops of lava dripping from its neck. 2 lines of text appeared in front of Jojo not far away. Your pet lava dragon, Nazario has killed the desert fog lizard leader, Scarlet Lord, Shwetcha. Promotion energy plus 20. Loots have been condensed. The territory of the Scarlet Lord has become ownerless. You can plunder or occupy it. Chapter 24. Organizing the loots. The announcement reappears. Nazario didn't seem to have had enough fun after killing the desert fog lizard leader. It flew back into the sky and surveyed the intense battle below. Then, it joined in without hesitation and helped the soldiers deal with the desert fog lizard monsters. With the addition of a green bronze tier dragon like Nazario, the soldiers' morale was boosted, and they fought even harder. Half an hour later, more than 200 desert fog lizards were killed. Almost all of the corpses were made up of desert fog lizards. However, there were also scattered corpses of soldiers. After Jojo saw the corpses of these soldiers, the feeling of jubilation for defeating the Scarlet Lord faded. Zhang Qianjing, heal the wounded soldiers. I've already given you the life potions. Don't be stingy when you need to use them. Ask me for more if you need them. Jojo said to the Black Iron Tier intermediate grade doctor beside him. My lord is merciful. Zhang Qianjing bowed respectfully to Jojo and immediately walked quickly in the direction of the injured. My lord, don't be too sad. We are mortal enemies with these fog monsters and foreign lords. They'll attack us sooner or later even if we don't attack them. A small number of casualties to avoid greater casualties or even destruction in the future. My lord, please don't doubt yourself. None of our soldiers are afraid of war, and all of us agree with the Lord's decision. Bai Yi came in front of Jojo and said seriously. She was very worried that her lord would not want to fight again just because he had seen some casualties. A lord who dared not fight was no different from a lamb waiting to be slaughtered on the high continent. Even though she would still be loyal to her lord, she did not want her lord to die at the hands of other lords or fog monsters one day. Jojo said nothing while he looked at the battlefield in front of him. His eyes gradually became firm. Only by becoming stronger would there be fewer casualties. He thought firmly. If he could bring 1,000,000 soldiers with him and each of them threw a stone in this battle, he could also bury this territory of the Scarlet Lord. I'm still not strong enough. I need more soldiers and even more lord talents. He thought. Take me to see the corpse of the Scarlet Lord. Jojo suddenly said. Yes. Bai Yi heaved a sigh of relief in her heart, and a smile appeared on her face again. Then, she brought Jojo to the corpse of the desert fog lizard leader. Nazario flew in front of Jojo and rubbed its head against Jojo's arm. Then, it looked at Jojo with sparkling eyes. Praise me. Praise me. My Nazario did well. You will take the main credit for this battle. Jojo praised. The casualties would probably be at least 10 times more for this battle if it weren't for the fact that Nazario had killed this desert fog lizard leader and then helped the soldiers deal with the other desert fog lizards. Thus, it was no problem for Nazario to take the credit. Then, Jojo placed his hand on the corpse of the desert fog lizard leader. Lord Talent hint, you have obtained these loots: 10 units of mist cores, black iron tier, 100 units of desert fog lizard leader's meat, green bronze tier elementary grade, 100 kilograms water bag, 5 sword shield soldier class change certificates, no grade, 3 sword shield soldier recruitment books, low bronze, 1 sand trap skill book, black iron tier elementary grade, 1 alchemy potion formula, blood eye, black iron tier elementary grade, 1 scarlet lord talent sphere, white, silver tier elementary grade. The huge corpse of the desert fog lizard leader instantly exploded. There were so many loots that it looked like a small mountain. Bai Yu was already mentally prepared. However, he could not help but widen his eyes. Nazario, on the other hand, drooled as it stared at the meat and the green bronze tier mist cores. Jojo also checked the loot. The first item he looked at was the sand trap technique skill book. Skill name, sand trap technique. Skill quality, green bronze tier elementary grade. Skill description, advanced sand stealth skill. Controls the ground, turning the ground within a certain range into a quicksand pit. The area and depth of the quicksand pit depends on the amount of energy output from the user. Jojo learned it on the spot. This was a rare skill that could change the terrain. Jojo had already witnessed its power in the battle just now. In a one-on-one fight, the effect might not seem obvious. However, if it was used on a battlefield where there were many people, it would definitely produce an astonishing effect that could be worthy of being called a battlefield killing machine. It would not be impossible to sink a city into quicksand with a wave of his hand when he became stronger in the future. Next was the alchemy potion formula, blood eye. Alchemy potion formula, blood eye. Formula quality, black iron tier elementary grade. Formula effect, after using it, you can master the refining method of the blood eye. Apply the blood eye on the eyelids and you can observe the warm-blooded creatures within your field of vision. It will also have a certain effect of improving your vision. Material formula, blood pupil flower, black iron tier elementary grade, blue ice leaf, black iron tier elementary grade, 3-leaf grass, common material. Formula description, any creature with blood can't hide from the blood eye. Jojo looked at the formula thoughtfully. This blood eye seemed to be useful in restraining invisibility skills. Other than that, Jojo could not think of any other uses for it. He did not think too much about it and prepared to get Ashburn to learn it. Jojo's gaze landed on a ball of light that emitted a silver-white halo with a wisp of blood inside. Treasure name, Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, unknown. Treasure grade, white silver tier. Treasure effect, after being purified by the Supreme Will, the Lord can absorb it and obtain an unknown white silver tier Lord talent. Do you want to purify it? Jojo did not purify it immediately. Who knew what would happen in the process? It was better to return to his territory first. After that, Jojo entered the Lord's wooden house and saw the territory token tablet. Moreover, it was a black iron tier intermediate grade token. The Scarlet Lord also has a territory token tablet. Jojo clicked his tongue in wonder. He called 5 sword shield soldiers over and began to destroy this territory token tablet. It took them an entire 15 minutes to break the 5,000 points endurance tablet to reveal the territory token inside. Jojo stepped forward and placed his hand on the territory order. Receive the territory order. Click. The territory order landed in his hands. At this moment, a line of golden text suddenly appeared in front of Jojo. Cerulean Planet World Channel announcement, congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun, on becoming the first Cerulean Planet Lord to capture the territory of a Scarlet Lord. The reward is a Supreme Tier Treasure Box +1, Reputation Rating +1. 3 announcements rang in the ears of all the Cerulean Planet Lords. I'm the first Cerulean Planet Lord to occupy the territory of a Scarlet Lord. Chapter 25. White Silver Tier Lord Talent Monster Ranch. Did the others not obtain this achievement yet? He would often dive in the World Channel and watch the other lords' chats when he was bored. Therefore, he already knew that the Dragon Lady had a green bronze tier elementary grade wyvern under her command through the conversation of others. Even though it was not as strong as his Nazario, It shouldn't be a problem to deal with a Scarlet Lord of the lowest level, right? She actually didn't get this achievement. He thought for a while. The Wyvern naturally had no problem dealing with the lowest level Scarlet Lord. However, there were also a large number of fog monsters around each Scarlet Fog. No matter how strong the Dragon Lady's Wyvern was, it could not deal with the Scarlet Lord while dealing with the monster subjects under its command. He suddenly realized. Not everyone was like him, who had high-end combat power like the pure-blooded dragons and had the combat power of hundreds of military professionals. He stopped thinking about it. Jojo opened the World Channel and started watching. At this moment, the billions of Cerulean planet lords on the World Channel were discussing the announcement. Two firsts in the entire channel. The Lord of the Blazing Sun is actually so terrifying. What is a Scarlet Lord? A foreign race lord? Can any big shot explain? I've heard from my subjects that the Scarlet Lord is the Lord of the Fog monsters. It's our archenemy. Oh my god, I find the Fog monsters difficult enough to fight. Big Boss Blazing Sun has already gone to deal with their leader. Are we really in the same version? This wave is a version upgrade. If only I could get to know Big Boss Blazing Sun. That way, I can cozy up to him. From another perspective, I'm a woman that Big Boss Blazing Sun can't have. I'm the man that Big Boss Blazing Sun will never get. *T that no one cares about isn't precious. The Dragon Lady was silent as she looked at the discussion on the World Channel on her planes. For the past 2 days, she had been planning to occupy the territory of a foreign race lord. She had already thought it through. She would launch an official attack after she summoned another wyvern the day after as her subordinate. She could publicize her lord talent as long as she succeeded. She believed that with her fame on the Cerulean planet, she would definitely be able to obtain a reputation that was not inferior to that of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. At that time, she would use this reputation to get the other lords to work for her. She would use this as a springboard to develop faster and stronger. This cycle would continue and she would definitely be able to fight for the position of the Overlord in the future. However, in less than a day, this Lord of the Blazing Sun had actually conquered another territory of the Scarlet Lord and once again appeared on the entire channel. What exactly could his Lord talent be? Could it be a legendary tier Lord talent? Or a mythical tier Lord talent? Susanna Margaret was puzzled. Then, she calmed down. It's just a temporary lead. I'm in no hurry. I am the Dragon Blood Queen appointed by the Supreme Will. It won't be long before I catch up to him and surpass him. Elsewhere, in a cemetery. Undead Lord Zhonghan narrowed his eyes slightly as he looked at the chat content in the World Channel. He actually took down the territory of a Scarlet Lord before me. There was also a Scarlet Lord's territory near his territory. Originally, he planned to slowly weaken the other party's strength while waiting to advance to the Green Bronze tier elementary grade. After he could enslave the Green Bronze tier undead, he would officially attack the other party's territory. He didn't expect the Lord of the Blazing Sun to get the first so quickly. I have to speed up my development, otherwise, all the benefits will go to this Lord of the Blazing Sunday, he said as he began to plot. Jojo chuckled and turned off the World Channel in the territory of the Desert Fog Lizard leader. Then, he opened the reputation ranking. He was still ranked first with the advantage of his 2 firsts. The rankings after that were not even occupied by any other lords. I'll get another loyal subject tomorrow with this reputation rating. Jojo was looking forward to it. Then, he closed the reputation ranking and looked at the golden treasure chest that appeared out of thin air in front of him. He resisted the urge to open it and asked the 5 sword shield soldiers around him to bring it back to his territory and send it to his lord's wooden house. Half an hour later, Bai Yi came to report after sorting out the loot. My lord, the loot here has been reorganized. We found a total of 3,000 units of stone, 1,500 units of wood, 500 units of metal, and 1000 units of fine sand here. I also found 357 black iron tier mist cores and 6 green bronze tier mist cores. Put them all in a simple wooden cart pulled by a mechanostrider and transport them back together. If it doesn't fit, the soldiers will transport it. Jojo said. The 9 simple, homemade wooden carts that he had brought today were purchased from a lord who claimed to have a professional carpenter. It was not expensive either. A small wooden cart only required 3 units of black iron tier elementary grade meat. Jojo immediately had an idea to use the combination of mechanostrider plus simple wooden cart to create a convoy to transport supplies. In the future, not only would he be able to transport more resources and monster corpses, but he would also be able to free up his soldiers' combat power, so he gave it a try. It seemed to be working quite well. How many casualties on our side? Jojo asked Bai Yi. In this battle, we lost a total of 12 soldiers. There are 22 with major injuries and 76 with minor injuries. Bai Yi answered. When we get back, tell these injured soldiers not to participate in the battle for the time being. Let them recuperate first. Let them come back only after they have recovered their ability to fight. Arrange an easy job for those who can't continue fighting after they recover. Blazing Sun City will be responsible for the rest of their lives if they become unable to fight. Jojo said. With his 100% drop rate, it was naturally easy for him to raise these injured people. Moreover, when he became stronger in the future, the 100% drop rate would be more effective. He could completely nurture more injured people. Moreover, when he had the talent of a healing lord in the future, it was not impossible to turn these injured people into healthy people again. Therefore, he was very confident. Yes. Thank you, my lord. Bai Yi looked at Jojo gratefully and went to make arrangements. Soon he heard waves of cheers from the soldiers in the distance. A smile appeared on Jojo's face. He walked out of the lord's wooden house and looked at the lonely building, feeling a little strange. He seemed to remember there was more than one building here when he arrived. Could it be that the Lord Talent of the Desert Fog Lizard Leader also has a special building which disappeared when it died? Jojo thought. He looked around again, then shook his head. There were no special resources here, so there was no need to occupy it. A moment later, the army reformed before bringing the loot back to Blazing Sun City. In the Blazing Sun City, the Lord's wooden house. Jojo took out the Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. Purify. Jojo said expectantly. The next second, a golden light flashed from the Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. After the golden light disappeared, Jojo suddenly realized. The blood-colored light on the Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere had actually disappeared. Its information has also been updated. Treasure name, Lord Talent Sphere, Monster Ranch. Treasure effect, after absorbing it, the Lord will have the white silver tier Lord Talent, Monster Ranch. Treasure description, a Lord Talent Sphere purified by the Supreme Will. After absorbing it, you can obtain a white silver tier Lord Talent. Chapter 26. Monster Rancher, Mugu. Monster Ranch? What kind of Lord Talent is this? Jojo was puzzled. He did not think too much about it and chose to use it. A golden text notification appeared. Do you want to absorb this Lord's Talent Sphere, white silver tier? The next second, the white silver tier Lord Talent Sphere immediately turned into countless silver light spots and surged into his glabella. Jojo opened his eyes again after some time, then immediately opened his Lord's personal information. His Lord Talent had already been updated. Lord Talent, 100% drop rate, Legendary tier, Gnome Alchemy Workshop, Green Bronze tier, Monster Ranch, White Silver tier. My third Lord Talent. Superb. Jojo looked excited. Then, he opened the details of the talent. Lord Talent, Monster Ranch, White Silver tier. Monster Ranch, Your territory has the ability to build a special building monster ranch. When you place a kind of fog monster in the monster ranch, the monster ranch will absorb the scarlet fog at night and nurture a different number of fog monsters of the same race on the second day. He almost wanted to use this lord talent immediately upon seeing it. Raising desert fog lizards. The Scarlet Lord was gone, so the scarlet fog would not give birth to new desert fog lizards, so he was worried about what to do with the source of sword shield soldiers in the future. Everything was solved with this development. He could totally use the monster ranch to rear the desert fog lizards. Killing the newborn desert fog lizards every day would steadily provide him with water, flesh, blood, mist core, sword shield soldiers, and promotion energy. Such a perfect plan. My lord, I have something to report. At this moment, Bai Yi's voice came from outside the door. What is it? Jojo asked. There's an unfamiliar human here who claims to be a monster rancher and your subject. However, I've never seen him before, so I came here to confirm his identity. Bai Yi said. Monster rancher. Jojo's expression changed. He stood up and walked to the door. When he pushed it open, he saw Bai Yi standing in front of him and a young man stood behind Bai Yi. He had an ordinary face and a strong body. He wore a silver shirt and had a silver whip hanging from his waist. He looked a little fierce. However, when he saw Jojo, his expression became extremely respectful. I'm Monster Rancher, Mugu. Jojo looked at him and his personal information appeared. Subject, Mugu. Life profession, Monster Rancher. Battle class name, Monster Shepherd. Ability overview, the Monster Rancher of the Monster Ranch is also a Monster Shepherd who is good at fighting fog monsters. He is proficient in communication, taming, and controlling fog monsters. There is a chance to upgrade a normal fog monster to an elite fog monster or even a leader fog monster. Skills, Special Building, Monster Ranch, Fog Monster, Communication, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade, Fog Monster, Taming, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade, Fog Monster, Control, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade, Fog Monster, Berserk, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade, Fog Monster, Appease, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade. Potential, Diamond Tier Advance Grade. Jojo's eyes lit up when he saw the other party's ability description. A dual profession talent. Moreover, not only could the other party build a monster farm, but it could also turn normal fog monsters into elite fog monsters or even leader fog monsters. This was a talent that could increase the chances of loot dropping. He came back to his senses and said to Bai Yi. He is indeed our subject, but he's kind of new, so you haven't seen him before. I see. Bai Yi looked at Mugu and apologized. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. It doesn't matter. Mugu smiled. Then, he looked at Jojo. My lord, the monster ranch is ready. Do you want to take a look? Bai Yi, come with me. Jojo said. Yes, my lord. Bai Yi nodded. Then, the three of them walked out of the novice lord's protective barrier. They had just walked about 100 meters when they saw a vast ranch entrance appear in front of them, with a wooden sign on the entrance with the words Monster Ranch written on it. Building name, Monster Ranch. Construction level, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade / Special. Building effect 1, it can nurture 300 Black Iron Tier fog monsters of the same race by absorbing the scarlet fog at night. Building effect 2, the monster ranch can be upgraded as the territory levels up. After leveling up, the ability of the monster ranch master will increase, and the number of fog monsters that the monster ranch can nurture will also increase. Building range, 2000m x 2000m. Current fog monster race, nothing yet. Current number of fog monsters that can be cultivated per day, 300. Building upgrade, upgradable with territory upgrade. Prompt, This building cannot nurture dragons, titans, angels, elves, fairies, deities, and other monsters with superior bloodlines. Building description: this place only breeds monsters. This special building could actually be upgraded, as expected of a white silver tier lord talent. Monster Ranch. What does this mean? Bai Yi's eyes were blank. Jojo thought for a moment and told her the function of this building. Bai Yi was confused. It was not easy for them to eliminate the desert fog lizards. Why did he want to nurture them? The desert fog lizards can become our stable source of water, meat, sword shield soldiers, mist cores, and promotion energy if we do things this way. It's killing two birds with one stone. Jojo explained about his idea of obtaining loot every day through the monster ranch. That's why I want to protect the desert fog lizards. I even want to nurture them. There might only be a few desert fog lizards in the entire hot desert now. We can't keep killing them. After you're done resting, go catch one or two and put them in the monster ranch to nurture. From now on, as long as the desert fog lizards in the scorching desert don't become plentiful and attack us, try not to hunt them. Think of them as endangered species, but if they come to us to court death, then so be it. Jojo said solemnly. Bai Yi, understood, my lord. She was about to leave and catch two desert fog lizards when Jojo seemed to have thought of something else. If you see a black-tailed fog scorpion, capture it. We can put the black-tailed it in the second monster ranch after it is built. But we've never taken the initiative to attack the black-tailed fog scorpion. There should still be a lot of them, right? Bai Yi said blankly. Cage them up first. Jojo waved his hand. Bai Yi was speechless. Chapter 27. Emperor of Sand's Spatial Ring. The idea of a scout team. Bai Yi left and Jojo opened Mugu's personal information again to see what materials were needed to build a monster ranch. Occupation: skill name, special building, monster ranch. Skill grade, black iron tier advanced grade / special. Skill description, special construction skill. It originates from the white silver tier lord talent, monster ranch. It can build a monster ranch specially used to nurture monsters. Construction materials: 3,000 units of wood, 3,000 units of fine sand, 3,000 units of metal, 3,000 units of stone, 1,000 black iron tier mist cores, 1 origin crystal. The other materials were easy to obtain, but he had never seen materials like origin crystals on sale, even though he had long heard of this material. Origin crystals had long been listed as a resource in the Lord's personal information, which meant that it was also an extremely important resource to the Lords. Mugu, do you know where we can get the origin crystal? Jojo asked Mugu directly. I do, they are extremely rare. Usually, only regional Scarlet Lords and some ordinary Scarlet Lords will drop it. Some special monsters will occasionally drop origin crystals too. Mugu said. Regional Scarlet Lord? What's that? Jojo was stunned. A regional Scarlet Lord refers to the Scarlet Lord that occupies the entire regional territory. There will be a regional Scarlet Lord who will rule this area in any ownerless regional territory. For example, this scorching desert we are in now should be ruled by a regional Scarlet Lord. Mugu said. This triggered Jojo's memory. Previously, when he saw the introduction of the Desert Fog Lizard leader, he had indeed discovered that it was written as one of the 3 Scarlet Lords of the Blazing Sun Desert. Which meant one of the other 2 Scarlet Lords was the regional Scarlet Lord that Mugu mentioned. Jojo's thoughts started taking root, but he came back to his senses in no time. How many monster ranches can you manage at the same time with your current ability? He asked again. I can currently manage 3 black iron tier advanced grade monster ranches. Mugu said respectfully. Jojo nodded. He chatted with Mugu for a while before returning to the Lord's wooden house. In the living room. If I want to develop in the hot desert, these 2 Scarlet Lords are a hurdle I have to get past. Also, I wonder if there are other foreign race lords in the Blazing Sun Desert. I need a complete understanding of the Blazing Desert as a cerulean planet lord who wants to develop in the coming days. Jojo pondered but did not think too much about it. He took the supreme treasure chest that was rewarded by the entire channel and opened it. A yellowish-brown crown-like ring lay quietly inside. Jojo picked it up. A text message appeared. Equipment name, Emperor of Sand's Spatial Ring. Equipment grade, Special. Equipment effect 1, summon sand soldiers. Control the energy of the sand and materialize a sand soldier equivalent to your own strength. The sand soldier has unparalleled loyalty, powerful combat power, and simple intelligence. It can carry out the simple orders of the ring owner. Transmogrification arms type, spearman, bowman, sword shield soldier, crossbowman, cavalry, saber soldier. Equipment effect 2, 500 cubic meters of storage space. Introduction, it was once the storage ring of the Emperor of Sand. He tried to replace the sun and finally died under the sun. Remarks, currently bound to the Lord of the Blazing Sunday. This equipment is good. Not only could he summon the sand soldiers, what Jojo valued the most was the storage space of 500 cubic meters. As a transmigrator, he finally had his first spatial ring. In the future, he would not have to travel with so much baggage when he heads out to battle. Jojo put on the spatial ring happily and he immediately sensed a vast spherical space in the ring that was 500 cubic meters in size. At the same time, he sensed that there was a skill mark engraved on the ring. Jojo thought. The energy in his body quickly surged into the skill mark. At the same time, the Emperor of Sand's spatial ring began to emit a faint yellow light. The yellow sand light quickly condensed in front of him. In less than a second or two, it formed a sand cavalry wearing gorgeous yellow sand armor, holding a spear, and riding a sand horse. After it appeared, it immediately half-knelt on the ground, silently exercising the highest level of reverence towards Jojo. Jojo looked at it curiously. Name, Cavalry of Sand. Soldier type, Cavalry. Ability overview, a sand soldier summoned from the Emperor of Sand's spatial ring. Has 10 years of cavalry combat experience and an undying sand transformation ability. He is the perfect choice for a personal guard. Skills, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Horsemanship, Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Lancemanship, Sand Body, Sand Revival, Sand Stealth. Potential, none. Jojo looked at the sand cavalry in front of him and clicked his tongue in wonder. Then, he sensed the consumption in his body. Summoning a cavalry consumes about 30% of my energy. It should be similar for the other types of soldiers. That means I can summon up to 3 sand soldiers at once. Jojo was very satisfied. The 3 sand soldiers, together with their ability to turn into sand, were comparable to 10 human soldiers above Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. They were enough to guarantee his personal safety. The rewards of this supreme treasure chest never disappoints. Jojo thought. This sand cavalry instantly disintegrated into bountiful sand energy and quickly dissipated into the air. After that, he opened the marketplace and used another 2,000 units of Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Desert Fog Lizard meat to set up a transaction to buy materials for the Blood Eye. Then, he walked out of the Lord's wooden house and went to the Gnome Alchemy Workshop. He saw Ashburn assembling a mechanostrider with his 4 disciples as soon as he entered. "Greetings, my lord." The 5 of them chimed. "How was your rest?" Jojo nodded and looked at Ashburn. "I'm fully rested. Also, congratulations, my lord, on your first victory against the Scarlet Lord." Ashburn laughed. His eyes were bright and his movements were strong. He looked like he was indeed resting well. "Your potions were very useful. We would have lost a lot of people if it weren't for your life potions." Jojo shook his head. "That's my duty." Ashburn bowed elegantly. Jojo smiled. "I have something to tell you." Ashburn immediately looked like he understood. Then, he got his 4 disciples to leave the studio and closed the door. "Please give me my instructions, my lord," Ashburn said seriously. "It's not a big deal. It's just that I obtained another alchemy potion formula. When the ingredients arrive, you can make some." Jojo handed the alchemy formula for the blood eye to Ashburn. Ashburn took it with a click of his tongue. Even though he already knew about his lord's golden hand, he hadn't expected that the lord would be able to make use of his building effects to obtain 2 alchemy potion formulas in just 2 days. It's also a very practical alchemy potion. Ashburn was surprised. Jojo nodded. "And I have something else to tell you. I plan to form a scout team that is in charge of exploring the surrounding environment of the territory. That would include the area where the fog monsters are, the resource area, the terrain of various places, and so on. We'll need a bunch of mechanostriders as a means of transportation. From now on, just focus on the mechanostriders and make a small amount of other potions. Can you make, say, 20 mechanostrider a day? I need 100 for now," Jojo asked. "Absolutely. I have 4 disciples now. Even though their skills are still a little rough, we can make more than 30 mechanostriders a day. I can definitely make 100 mechanostriders in 3 days," Ashburn promised. "Let me know if you need anything." Jojo trusted Ashburn very much. After saying that, he turned around and left. Half an hour later, Bai Yi was back with some bad news. Chapter 28. Use of the Blood Eye. Establishment of the medical hall. After Jojo received the news, he immediately walked out of the room and found Bai Yi. The situation on her side was not so good. A black and purple-faced Black Iron Tier intermediate grade soldier was lying unconscious on a simple wooden cart. Bai Yi and the others were anxious, but they could not do anything about this situation. "Make way for the Lord. My lord must have a way to save Brother Zhang." When the soldiers saw Jojo arrive, they were immediately excited. Then, they quickly made way for Jojo. Jojo quickly arrived in front of the poisoned person. "My lord, I was careless. We were accidentally ambushed by the black-tailed fog scorpion hidden under the sand in the process of capturing them. We killed all the black-tailed fog scorpions in the end, but this comrade was still accidentally poisoned by a low-level black-tailed fog scorpion during the battle. I did some emergency treatment to suppress the spread of the poison in his body, but there was still no way to neutralize the poison. He passed out on the way back. My lord, please punish me." Bai Yi looked ashamed. "Poisoned?" Jojo did not waste his breath. He took out the Black Iron Tier elementary grade antidote he had obtained earlier, opened the cork, and poured the entire bottle into the poisoned soldier's mouth. The next second, his tense expression relaxed at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, his dark purple face gradually returned to its normal color. His face returned to normal and he opened his eyes in confusion in no time. Jojo opened the soldier's personal information and realized that his condition had returned to normal. All right. All right. He's awake. As expected of the Lord. I knew his lordship would have a way." The soldiers were pleasantly surprised. Bai Yi also heaved a sigh of relief. However, she did not dare to look into Jojo's eyes. "There is no need to blame yourself for that. It's clearly because of the black-tailed fog scorpion's attack methods that are impossible to guard against. It's normal for you to get hit by accident. Just be careful next time." Jojo looked at Bai Yi and shook his head. "The black-tailed fog scorpion is proficient in sneak attacks underground. It's very difficult for us to discover it in advance," Bai Yi said helplessly. Jojo also frowned slightly. Bai Yi was right. However, how could he be willing to avoid the area where the black-tailed fog scorpions were just because of that? It would be impossible for him to avoid the black-tailed fog scorpion's living area when his territory expands in the future. Moreover, The poison of this black-tailed fog scorpion was a little stronger than he had expected. A black iron tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpion almost poisoned a black iron tier intermediate grade and sword shield soldier to death. At this moment, Jojo suddenly thought of an item. "Come with me," he said. The two arrived at the gnome alchemy workshop and found Ashburn. "Ashburn, can the blood eye enable us to see the fog monsters hidden underground?" Jojo asked directly. Bai Yi was stunned for a moment before her eyes lit up. "The blood eye can detect them as long as they aren't hiding more than 10 meters underground." Ashburn laughed. "No problem. The black-tailed fog scorpion wouldn't hide so deep beneath the ground. Erupting out from the ground would take too long otherwise and the commotion would be too big. I estimate that they are generally about 3 to 5 meters beneath the surface." Bai Yi said excitedly. "No problem at all." Ashburn smiled and nodded. With that, he turned around and walked to the workbench. He took 3 blood-red potion bottles and returned to Jojo. "I have just grasped the refinement method of this blood eye, so I couldn't help but make 3 bottles. This potion is very simple to refine. I can refine about 10 bottles in an hour. You can use it now if you need it. If it's not enough, I'll refine it again." Ashburn laughed. "Thank you." Bai Yi thanked him. "You're too kind, Madam Bai. We're all working for the Lord." Ashburn laughed. Bai Yi looked at Jojo with burning eyes. Jojo touched his nose and did not say anything. After taking the blood eye potion, he led her out of the gnome alchemy workshop. "You want revenge for your poisoned brother?" Jojo asked directly after coming out. "I'll go wherever my lord tells me to go," Bai Yi said respectfully. "It's okay. I want to attack the territory of the black-tailed fog scorpion too. But before that, we need to understand the range of black-tailed fog scorpion survival methods and their exact numbers. There's a saying in my hometown, only by knowing yourself and your enemy can you win 100 battles." Jojo said. "I understand." Bai Yi also calmed down. Jojo nodded and he told her about the scout team. "There are now 9 mechanostriders unused in the territory. Pick out 9 smart soldiers and get them to master the piloting of the mechanostriders. Then, you can bring them to explore the black-tailed fog scorpion's territory first. Obtain intel on the enemy so that we can beat them. I will lead you to destroy this group of black-tailed fog scorpions then." Jojo said seriously. "Yes, my lord. I'll carry it out now," Bai Yi said excitedly. Then, she left with the 3 bottles of blood eye potion that Jojo had given her. Jojo watched her leave. There was nothing to worry about. With the blood eye, even the monsters hidden underground could not escape their observation. It would be difficult for them to encounter danger as long as Bai Yi and the others did not deliberately bump into the monster's face when they were on these fast mechanostriders. "I wonder if there's a Scarlet Lord behind the black-tailed fog scorpion," Jojo pondered. "My lord. I have something to report." Zhao Changshao walked over. "Elder Zhao, just tell me," Jojo said politely. He was very respectful to old people, especially talented old people. Courtesy must not be abandoned. Zhao Changshao seemed to take note of this and said, "My lord, the clinic has been completed. I'm also supervising the construction of the warehouse. It should be ready by tonight. As for the residences, I handed them over to Qian Du." He completely grasped the blueprint of the residences that his lordship gave to him. He has already established 2 residences. There shouldn't be any problems with the remaining construction. The clinic was completed. A medical center was too important to stabilize the loyalty of the subjects. Moreover, it was even more important to the injured soldiers. It could greatly reduce their casualties. The 2 of them arrived at the newly built medical hall. It was not big, just a 2-story tall white ordinary building with the word medical hall on it. Building name, Medical Hall. Building effect, Basic building of the territory. After a doctor moves in, he can research, sell medicine, and treat patients. It can also slightly increase the loyalty of his subjects. Note 1, this building can be upgraded by higher quality blueprints, but the corresponding materials need to be replenished. Note 2, the level of researching medicine and treating patients, the economic benefits of selling medicine, and the extent of increasing the loyalty of the people depends on the level of the clinic and the life profession level of the doctor. Building description: I'd rather the medicine hall be covered in thick dust than have a patient in the world. I established this black iron tier intermediate grade medical hall because the best doctor in our territory, Zhang Qianjing, is at this level. I will upgrade this building when physician Zhang's profession level increases in the future or there are higher level doctors in the territory. My lord, you don't have to worry about higher level blueprints. There's no need for blueprints at all as long as we don't build anything above the white platinum tier intermediate grade. I can build them directly with enough resources and manpower. Zhao Changshao smiled. Jojo, very satisfied. Having a high-level architect by his side would save money and trouble. After that, Jojo went to see the two residences that Qiandu had built. It had to be said that even though Qiandu was an unorthodox architect, with the help of the blueprint and Zhao Changshao's guidance, the houses built were still quite standard. A residence that could accommodate up to 4 people could be built with fewer resources even though it could not be upgraded. As long as Jojo's territory was large enough, it was not a problem for everyone to have a residence of their own. On the other side, Bai Yi quickly found 9 suitable candidates and began to teach them how to pilot the Mechanostriders. It was not difficult to learn how to pilot the Mechanostriders. Given their intelligence, they mastered the method in less than an hour. She brought them away from the territory in a Mechanostrider after cautioning them on the things to take note of. Time passed, night gradually fell. Bai Yi and the others finally returned safely before the scarlet fog appeared with the results of their investigation. Chapter 29. Information. A different Cerulean planet lord announcement. In the living room of the lord's wooden house. My lord, we found the nest of the black-tailed fog scorpion. There are about 400 of them. They're about 25 kilometers southwest of Blazing Sun City. Furthermore, we discovered that there was a green bronze tier advance grade leader among them. It is also a Scarlet Lord. Bai Yi, who had just returned, reported. It is really a Scarlet Lord. Jojo's expression also became serious, however, he was not afraid. It was just a green bronze tier grade Scarlet Lord, not even strong enough to face off with his green bronze tier advance grade lava dragon, Nazario. Pure-blooded dragons were the overlord race of the myriad worlds. With Nazario's current abilities, it might even have a high chance of killing even a white silver tier Scarlet Lord. Are you guys in some kind of trouble? Jojo asked. No, we can detect monsters hiding in our surroundings in advance with the Blood Eye potion. The Mechanostriders given to us by my lord allows us to use high movement speed to avoid them. None of them could catch up to us. Bai Yi replied excitedly. The experience of using the Mechanostrider and Blood Eye combination was extremely good. This was the first time she had experienced such a strange feeling. Jojo nodded, feeling a little strange. He did not expect the effect of the Blood Eye to be so useful. What do you think our chances are if we go up against them? Jojo asked. The black-tailed fog scorpion's greatest threat lies in its poison and its ability to ambush. But we don't have to worry about sneak attacks with the Blood Eye potion and we have the antidote. As long as we can resolve these two threats, I think we have an 80% chance of winning. If we have a way to deal with the green bronze tier advance grade black-tailed fog scorpion leader, I think we have a 100% chance of winning. Bai Yi said after thinking seriously. She was loyal and would not lie to him. Therefore, Jojo did not hesitate to make a decision upon hearing that. Get ready then. Tomorrow, we'll deal with these black-tailed fog scorpions and their scarlet lords. Understood? Bai Yi said respectfully. One more thing. I've already used the newly obtained Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books to recruit another 36 Black Iron Tier elementary grade Sword Shield soldiers. They're at the residences now. Bring them along when you are going back. Jojo said. They killed a total of 212 desert fog lizards during the battle with the desert fog lizard leader during the day. Among them were 178 Black Iron Tier elementary grade desert fog lizards, 27 Black Iron Tier intermediate grade desert fog lizards, 6 elite Black Iron Tier advanced grade desert fog lizard, and 1 Black Iron Tier elementary grade desert fog lizard leader. Other than the loot mentioned before, he also gained 512 Black Iron Tier mist cores, 16 Green Bronze Tier mist cores, 5,240 units of flesh, Black Iron Tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade. 100 units of Green Bronze Tier elementary grade, 37 kilograms of water bag, 222 gradeless Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates, 36 Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books which had all become 36 new Sword Shield Soldiers and 6 Black Iron Tier advanced grade sand stealth techniques. In addition, this battle cost him 12 soldiers. However, it also gave him 40 more Black Iron Tier advanced grade soldiers and 122 Black Iron Tier intermediate grade professionals. His strength could be said to have increased instead of decreasing. Yes, my lord. Bai Yi nodded before leaving. At night, the scarlet fog quietly descended. The world was covered in a strange scarlet fog, invoking fear. Jojo stood inside the protective shield and looked at the quiet scarlet fog outside of the novice lord's protective barrier. For a moment, he was not used to it. There really won't be any new fog monsters. Never mind, so be it. It'll give the soldiers a good night's sleep. It won't be good for them to fight monsters all day and night. I have a monster ranch anyway, so I won't lose much even if no new fog monsters are born at night. Jojo thought. He looked in the direction of the monster ranch outside of the protection barrier and hesitated for a long time. In the end, he returned to the Lord's wooden house and brought Nazario along. It's cold. Jojo felt a bone-chilling cold as the scarlet fog surrounded his body. It seemed to have a consciousness as it tried to burrow into Jojo's body. With a thought, the energy in his body immediately circulated and the bone-chilling cold gradually disappeared. Jojo entered through the gates of the monster ranch and soon saw Mugu. Mugu also noticed Jojo. "Greetings, my lord." Mugu was a little surprised. After some hesitation, he said, "My lord. Forgive me for being rude. The scarlet fog is extremely strange, and it will reach its peak at night. It's better for you to tread carefully at this time." "It's okay. Didn't I bring it out with me?" Jojo pointed at the curious baby, Nazario, which was looking around. The tension in Mugu's face eased when he saw the baby dragon. "I overstepped my boundary." Jojo did not blame him. Instead, he looked at the small fence beside him. This small fence was only about 20 square meters, and there was an elite Black Iron Tier advanced grade desert fog lizard lying inside. It was the one that Bai Yi and the others had captured earlier in the day. They also caught a black-tailed fog scorpion that was at the Black Iron Tier elementary grade. However, since there was no second monster ranch, its limbs and tail were temporarily cut off and tied up. "How does the monster ranch work?" Jojo retracted his gaze and asked curiously. "My lord, why don't you wait for a while? You'll know when the time comes." Mugu smiled. A moment later, the bored Jojo suddenly saw a scarlet fog descend from the sky and charge straight into the body of the elite desert fog lizard. The elite desert fog lizard's body trembled, then a scarlet light shot out of its lower body. In the blink of an eye, that light landed in the large fence and turned into a Black Iron Tier elementary grade desert fog lizard. It looked around blankly and then got up. Soon, it saw Jojo and Mugu. The desert fog lizard immediately roared and rushed towards them aggressively. Jojo was just about to control it with mental control when Mugu rushed over at an extremely fast speed and reached out to touch its head. The desert fog lizard became still. Jojo had elementary grade mental potential, therefore, when Mugu touched his head, he could sense that this subordinate seemed to have released a mental perception that had the ability to pacify. Is this the unique ability of a monster rancher? Jojo clicked his tongue in wonder. In the next hour, more than 100 black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizards were nurtured. However, they were all ordinary black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizards. At this rate of birth, the monster ranch can produce at least 1,000 desert fog lizards a night. Can this hold? Jojo asked. It really can't. Therefore, I will let them fight among themselves and devour each other. This way, not only can we reduce their numbers, but we can also use this method to give birth to elite tier, leader tier, and even lord tier fog monsters. However, there won't be any scarlet lords amongst them. The lord tier monster that would only have the strength of a lord, but doesn't have the rank of a scarlet lord. Mugu said. Jojo nodded in realization. So this is how high-level monsters were born. Why can't a Scarlet Lord be born? He asked. Because my Lord's monster ranch originates from the Lord's talent and is protected by the Supreme Will. The Supreme Will not allow the Scarlet Lord to invade this place. Naturally, there's no way for the Lord of Scarlet to be born here. Mugu said. Jojo felt that it was a pity he could not artificially create the Scarlet Lord. After that, he returned to Blazing Sun City with Nazario. The next day, Jojo woke up in a daze. When he opened his eyes, he found Nazario licking his face. Go, go, go! Jojo stuffed a mouthful of black iron tier mist cores into its mouth and sent it away. He wanted to go back to sleep, but lazed around in bed when he realized that he couldn't fall back into slumber. Instead, he lay on the bed and turned on the World Channel, wanting to dive for a while. Then, Jojo saw a large number of Lord's comments appear on the World Channel. At the top of the World Channel, there was a blood-red announcement that he had never seen before. Cerulean Planet's Lord announcement: there are only 3 days left until the Novice Lord test. All Lords, please work hard to develop in the remaining 3 days. Otherwise, you will be eliminated by the fog monsters. Prompt: in this Novice Lord test, the Lords who pass the test will receive a reward. The better the performance of the Lord, the richer the rewards. The Lord who performs the best will receive the highest reward personally given by the Supreme Will. Please work hard to develop and seize this opportunity. Countdown: 95 hours, 32 minutes, 46 seconds. Chapter 30. Summoning the Subjects. Cartographer. He looked at the other Lord's opinions on this announcement as he processed the information. I thought the Novice Lord test was just a simple test. I didn't expect a reward. I have a yellow gold tier Lord talent. I will definitely stand out in this test. The Blazing Sun Lord, Dragon Lady Lord, Azura Lord, and Undead Lord haven't even spoken yet. Why are you with a yellow gold tier Lord talent making noise? I don't want to compare to those freaks. With my yellow gold tier Lord talent, it shouldn't be a problem for me to scoop up some soup that the big shots don't want, right? I still want to fight for it even though I don't have a Lord talent. The ultimate reward belongs to me, the Son of Heaven. My Falcon Core is ready to be tested at any time. I've only summoned 6 professionals over the past 4 days. Do you think I can pass this Novice Lord test? If you feel that you can't pass, find a way out as soon as possible. Give up your status as a Lord and find a local faction to be an ordinary person. It's not that I want to hurt anyone's feelings, but your lives are the most important. Don't you think so? I'm tempted. There seems to be a local faction near my territory. A bunch of cowards. A real man should treat this test as his chance. The test isn't here yet and you want to escape already? Not everyone has the heart to fight for supremacy. That's right, who wants to be a lord? I was dragged forcefully here, okay. This novice lord test will determine if you are a dragon or a worm. The World Channel displayed all kinds of human emotions. Some were tempted, some were wavering, and some were already thinking of retreating. However, most of the lords were still filled with ambition and anticipation for this novice lord test. JoJo was no exception. I have the legendary tier lord talent. There's no reason not to fight for this supreme reward. I can't underestimate the other lords since my lord talent will grow stronger in later stages. Perhaps some other lord can obtain a greater advantage than me now. I can't relax for the last 3 days. I have to accumulate strength with all my might. Only then can I have a chance to obtain the supreme reward in the novice lord test. JoJo rationalized it. He did not become egoistic with the achievements and fame of the past 3 days, nor was he in the mood to continue sleeping in. He simply got up and walked out of the lord's wooden house. Bai Yi and the others had already woken up and were eating breakfast. JoJo washed up quickly and joined in. Everyone rested for a while before they cleaned up the desert fog lizards in the monster ranch. JoJo then came to the gate of summoning and prepared to summon his subjects on the 4th day. Yes. JoJo immediately said. The next second, the gate of summoning suddenly lit up with white light, and 12 people walked out. When the 12 new subjects saw JoJo, they immediately said respectfully, "Welcome to Blazing Sun City." JoJo said as usual. Then, he began to check the attributes of the 12 new subjects. These 12 subjects were 6 men and 6 women. 10 of them were ordinary people without any profession. As for the other 2, one of them was a Black Iron Tier intermediate grade female chef. The other person was a cartographer, a young boy who was only 15 years old. He looked delicate and young, but his eyes were quite determined. Subject, Wu Tu. Life profession, cartographer. Profession class, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade. Ability overview, he has a image memory talent. He could record the scenery he saw with his brush. Later, he took the initiative to join the army for the sake of his family's livelihood and became a military cartographer. He was good at drawing all kinds of terrain distribution, natural resource gathering points, mountains and rivers, and the territory of monsters. Skills, talent, image memory, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade graphic skill, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade terrain recognition, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade monster recognition, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade medicinal herb recognition, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade mineral recognition, Black Iron Tier elementary grade Maple Town, Black Iron Tier elementary grade Maple Town, Black Iron Tier elementary grade Fish Spring Town, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade Maple Town. Black Iron Tier intermediate grade Goba Desert, Black Iron Tier intermediate grade, Raven Forest. Loyalty, 75. Potential, Yellow Gold Tier advance grade. This was the first time he had seen a human with talent in skills. Moreover, it was not a racial talent like the elementary grade mental potential. His person's potential was also higher than average since he actually had Yellow Gold Tier advance grade potential. He was almost a top talent of the human race. What surprised JoJo the most was this child was clearly not very old, but he had unexpectedly mastered many skills. His caliber was second only to Elder Zhao Changshao among the people he knew. He put away the surprise in his heart and began to distribute these people. JoJo used the 4 poison crossbowman class change certificates that he had obtained previously to turn 4 men into beginner-level poison crossbowmen. JoJo assigned the other 2 men to Zhao Changshao. Zhao Changshao and the others were building new buildings every day, but they were very short of manpower. Zhao Changshao, this old man, sometimes had to personally build mud walls. The soldiers could help them when they were free, but their main profession was still going out to conquer monsters. It was impossible for them to do construction work all day. Therefore, it was still necessary to assign construction personnel to Zhao Changshao and Qiandu. As for the remaining 4 female subjects, they were assigned to Qin Guang and his wife immediately. There were more than 600 people in the territory. It was not possible for Qin Guang and his wife to provide food to so many people every day by themselves. It was better for them to have more help. Finally, Jojo looked at Wu Tuesday. Wu Tu was still a child after all. Under Jojo's gaze, he quickly became a little nervous. "Don't be afraid of me. I'm not going to eat you. Go to the gnome alchemy workshop later and apply for a mechanostrider from the workshop owner, Ashburn. After you get it, get familiar with it. When you have completely mastered it, follow my scout team in the exploration of the surrounding information of the territory. Draw a map for me. This mission is important. Can you do that?" Jojo pondered for a moment before saying, "I can. That's what I did in the military. I'm already familiar with it." Wu Tu said confidently. "Okay. I like how confident you are. Since you're so confident, I will entrust you with a heavy responsibility and make you the vice captain of my scout team if you can satisfy my conditions. How about that?" Jojo said seriously. Wu Tu volunteered to serve in the army so that his family could survive, so Jojo believed that he was not a brat who knew nothing. Therefore, he did not look down on him because he was young and wanted to give this child a chance. In any case, he would only be the vice captain. The captain and the other soldiers could also look out for him and prevent him from doing anything wrong. When Wu Tu heard Jojo's words, his eyes could not help but light up. When he was in the army, no matter how much knowledge he learned or how many skills he mastered, he did not gain the trust of many soldiers because of his tender age. He did not expect this lord to trust him so much after he came here. My lord seemed to be different from the others. The young man thought. Then, he nodded vigorously. "I'll definitely become the vice captain." The lord in front of him smiled and ruffled his hair before turning to leave. Chapter 31. Gains from the Monster Ranch. Huge increase in military strength. Your subject Wu Tu's loyalty has increased to 87. Jojo, who was walking on the road, suddenly saw this notification. He winced then smiled. Half an hour later, the soldiers were done resting. Jojo gathered everyone together and called for Nazario. Then, they headed to the Monster Ranch together. Unbelievable. Is this still the same Monster Ranch I saw yesterday? I see elite desert fog lizards, so many of them. The soldiers looked at the Monster Ranch in front of them in shock. In just one night, the Monster Ranch had undergone a complete facelift. At this moment, the Monster Ranch in front of them was already crawling with desert fog lizards of all sizes. There were even some at elite tier. What surprised everyone the most was that they were no longer as fierce as before. These desert fog lizards were either crawling slowly or lazing around like domesticated livestock. Big Brother Mew is really amazing. I can't believe he made them so docile. Bai Yi said in surprise. Jojo shared her surprise, but he was already mentally prepared, so his expression did not change. My lord. Mugu walked out of the ranch and said respectfully. How was the result from last night? Jojo asked. It's been a normal night. There are a total of 500 desert fog lizards. Among them are 256 black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizards, 220 black iron tier intermediate grade desert fog lizards, and 24 elite black iron tier advanced grade desert fog lizards. It's a pity that the Monster Ranch hasn't reached the green bronze tier yet. Otherwise, I can create a leader tier or even lord tier desert fog lizard. Mugu said. Jojo's eyes flashed with excitement. This was not just 500 desert fog lizards. In his eyes, These were clearly 520 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates and 244 Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books. Jojo did not care about what Mugu said after that. The ranch would level up sooner or later. Mugu, release them in batches. Bai, get the soldiers to kill them one by one. Jojo said. Yes. Mugu and Bai said in unison. My lord, this is the official opening of the monster ranch. It means a lot. Please have the honor of choosing the first batch of desert fog lizards to meet their death. Mugu asked. Sure. Jojo thought for a moment and nodded. He walked to the ranch fence and looked at the 500 desert fog lizards. After looking at them for a while, he chose 10 of them that were lazing around on the ground. These 10 desert mist lizards have been lying motionless on the ground for so long. I must have seen too many of the same kind kill each other. I have decided to end their suffering. Just get them out and kill them. Jojo said. Desert fog lizards. We're just f***ing stuffed and don't want to move. My lord is right. Mugu nodded seriously and walked to the entrance of the monster ranch. He opened the door and used the ability of the monster rancher to call the 10 desert fog lizards out. Bai looked at the soldiers behind her. Who feels like they're about to break through? Stand up and kill these desert fog lizards yourself. Don't try to take advantage of the situation. I know where your strengths are. She glared at everyone. More than 50 people stood up. They looked at each other and charged at the 10 desert fog lizards and took care of them in less than 10 seconds. One of the soldiers looked pleased in no time. Officer Bai? I've broken through. I've broken through to Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade Sword Shield Soldier. The others looked at him enviously. Go back to the group. Bai smiled and nodded. The soldier chuckled foolishly and turned back to the group. For the next hour, everyone repeated this process in eliminating the desert fog lizards in the monster ranch. Jojo was not idle either. He got someone to move the desert fog lizards' corpses over while he collected the loot. More than an hour later, all 500 desert fog lizards were eliminated. 16 people had broken through to the Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade, 3 had broken through to the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, while John Kang and another subject who had followed him the earliest had broken through to the Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade. Other than that, Jojo also obtained loots from 500 desert fog lizards. 520 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates and 244 Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books had been obtained. There were also 1,584 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores. 16,320 units of flesh, Black Iron Tier Elementary, Intermediate, and Advanced Grade. A total of 1,156 kilograms of water bags. 24 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Sand Stealth Technique. Jojo asked Bai to call all the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade and Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade soldiers over. Then, he took out 44 Sand Stealth Techniques from his spatial ring and distributed 1 to 44 of them. It was all accumulated over this period of time. He decided to release them at this point in time. This is the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, Sand Stealth. Consider it a reward for your advancement. I'll treat you well when your strength advances to a higher level and you make more contributions. In addition, we will go and suppress the Scarlet Lord faction where the black-tailed fog scorpion is. You should be able to use the Sand Stealth technique. Jojo said. Thank you for the reward, my lord. Everyone was extremely excited. Skill books were very precious treasures to most professionals since the drop rate of monsters was too low on the high continent. Even kingdom-level forces had very strict jurisdiction over skill books. The adjective "a skill worth 1,000 gold" was not wrong at all. They did not expect their lord to be so generous as to reward them with the skill book. At this moment, their loyalty to Jojo had increased. Jojo saw the system notification on that but said nothing about it. After that, he brought everyone back to Blazing Sun City. Then, he went to the Gate of Summoning and threw in the 244 Sword Shield soldier recruitment books he had just obtained. Sword Shield soldiers walked out of the Gate of Summoning like a tide. Under Bai Yi's guidance, they joined the rest of the soldiers and Jojo's troops expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. The soldiers who saw the scene sighed with emotion. I walked out of the Gate of Summoning this morning. I didn't expect to see someone else walk out of here today. If it weren't for the desert fog lizards, would I have met my lord? We're so lucky that the desert fog lizards exist. His lordship's golden hand is also the key. Now that you mention it, I want to go to the monster ranch later and burn some incense for the desert fog lizards. Let's go together. Even though the desert fog lizards are our mortal enemy, they also provide us with food and upgrades. Why are there no female soldiers? A moment later, all 244 Sword Shield soldiers walked out of the Gate of Summoning. At this point, the number of soldiers under Jojo's command had reached 869. Let's do it again tomorrow. The number of soldiers under my command will officially break through to 1,000. Jojo's heart was burning with ambition. Following which, Jojo asked Ashburn for potions before bringing the soldiers, Dr. Zhang Qianjing, Nazario, and the Mechanostriders convoy to the territory of the black-tailed fog scorpion. Chapter 32. Begin the attack. Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow. Half an hour later, Jojo brought his subordinates to the vicinity of the black-tailed fog scorpion's territory. A lone lord's wooden house stood in the vast desert. Other than that, there was nothing. Not even a shadow of a black-tailed fog scorpion. Jojo and the others were not surprised at all. Use the blood eye. Bai Yi said in a low voice. Yes. Everyone said in unison. A total of 50 bottles of blood eye potion were passed on to all 869 soldiers. Each of them poured out a bit of the portion and smeared it on their eyelids. There were still 5 bottles of potions left after everyone applied some. Jojo also took out a bottle of blood eye potion and poured out 1/20 of it to smear evenly on his eyelids. After applying it, he quickly blinked. A magical scene happened. The scene in front of him gradually changed. Balls of blood-red chi that looked like black-tailed fog scorpions hidden under the desert gradually appeared in his vision. They surrounded the surrounding desert with the Lord's wooden house as the center. There were more than 400 of them. Jojo narrowed his eyes slightly. Prepare to attack. He ordered after observing for a moment. Yes, my lord. Bai Yi said respectfully. Then, she led 4 poisoned crossbowmen and 1 archer forward. They drew their bows and aimed at the 6 black-tailed fog scorpions closest to them. Shoot! Bai Yi shouted. The 6 of them shot their arrows in unison. Whoosh! 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 The bows were like thunderbolts. 5 poisonous arrows and an iron arrow shot out like lightning. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at their destination and shot straight into the ground. The next second, a kill notification appeared. Your subject, Bai Yi, has killed an black iron tier intermediate grade black-tailed fog scorpion. Promotion energy +2. Loot condensed. Your subject, Zhao Anmin, has killed a black iron tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpion. Promotion energy +1. Loot condensed. Your subject, Zhang Zekin, has killed a black iron tier elementary grade energy black-tailed fog scorpion. Promotion energy +1. Loot condensed. 6 screams sounded. Of the 6 black-tailed fog scorpions that were targeted, 3 were immediately killed, while the other 3 sustained injuries. Pu. 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 When the black-tailed fog scorpions realized that they could not hide, they broke out of the ground one after another and charged towards the humans. However, There were also many black-tailed fog scorpions that did not rush out from the ground. Instead, they advanced at a relatively slow speed underground and launched a sneak attack on Jojo and the others. Kill! All the soldiers rushed out in full strength and roared as they rushed towards the group of black-tailed fog scorpions accompanied by a furious roar. On the other hand, the poisoned crossbowmen and archers stood where they were and drew their bows, killing the black-tailed fog scorpions that were charging over from afar. Pay attention to the black-tailed fog scorpions. Soldiers who have mastered the sand stealth technique, remember to use your skills to rescue soldiers swept underground. Bai Yi yelled. Then, she immediately boarded the mechanostrider and began to wander around the edge of the battlefield. She began to kill these black-tailed fog scorpions one by one with the long-range attack advantage of the poisoned crossbow soldiers and the speed advantage of the mechanostrider. At the same time, Jojo, who was at the back of the battlefield, suddenly noticed through his blood eye that there were 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpions above the Black Iron Tier advance grade rushing towards him. Nazario was eager for some action. It was born with a powerful perception as a dragon. It could see the black-tailed fog scorpions hiding underground clearly and could even sense how many hairs were on the surface of their bodies. Jojo knew that it wanted to attack, but he stopped it. You don't need to do anything for monsters below the green bronze tier unless they are a threat to me, Jojo said. Why use a sledgehammer to kill a chicken? With a thought, the energy in his body quickly flowed into the spatial ring on his right index finger. Faint yellow sand light gradually appeared on the surface of the ring. Then, 3 black iron spearmen wearing gorgeous yellow sand armor and holding yellow sand spears condensed in front of him. They charged at the 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpions under Jojo's silent command. Their speed was extremely fast, and they quickly arrived more than 20 meters away from the elite black-tailed fog scorpion. Then, they jumped high into the air, holding long spears in their hands. The tips of their spears were pointed downwards, and they stabbed at the ground with all their might. Pu! 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 A dull piercing sound rang out. The long spear sank into the 2 black-tailed fog scorpions under the desert. They died on the spot. There was also an elite black-tailed fog scorpion that had no choice but to crawl out of the ground after being injured. However, as soon as it stuck its head out, it was killed by the sand spearman. After killing the 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpion, the sand spearmen dragged their corpses back to Jojo and stood guard. Jojo looked at the corpses of the 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpions. Item name, Elite Black-tailed Fog Scorpion. Item level, Black Iron Tier Advance Grade. Item description, Fog monsters killed by the soldiers of Blazing Sun City. Loots, 8 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores, drop rate, 100%, 1 unit to 100 units of Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Meat, drop rate, 20%. 0.1%, 1 Black Iron Tier Advance Grade Poison Sac, drop rate, 5%, 1 Black Iron Tier Advance Grade Antidote Potion, drop rate, 0.5%, 2 Gradeless Poison Crossbow Soldier Class Advancement Certificate, drop rate, 0.1%, 1 Black Iron Tier Advance Grade Poison Crossbow Recruitment Book, drop rate, 0.05%, 1 Black Iron Tier Advance Grade Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow, drop rate, 0.01%, 1 Black Iron Tier Advance Grade Potion Recipe, Antidote Potion, drop rate, 0.05%. Equipment dropped. Jojo's eyes lit up. This was the first time he had seen a monster that could drop equipment. Jojo quickly turned them into loot and searched around for this equipment. It was a black crossbow that was more than 40 centimeters long. It also came with a quiver that contained 100 black scorpion poison crossbows. Its external form was like that of a black-tailed fog scorpion. When it fired an arrow, this crossbow was like a black-tailed fog scorpion accumulating strength, preparing to stab its poisonous stinger. Equipment name, Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow. Equipment Effect 1, Strong Crossbow. The Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow will give the crossbow bolt double the strength, speed, range, penetration, and lethality. Equipment Effect 2, Black Scorpion Poisonous Crossbow. The Black Scorpion Poisonous Crossbow is equipped with 100 Black Scorpion Poisonous Crossbows. Each poisonous crossbow has strong black-tailed fog scorpion poison attached to it. It can poison anything from green bronze tier elementary grade to death. Introduction, equipment produced by the elite black-tailed fog scorpion. With it, even ordinary people can become terrifying killers. This is top-grade equipment. Jojo looked at this ferocious and domineering weapon with burning eyes. 2 equipment effects, both were to his liking. Then, he looked at the black-tailed fog scorpions in the distance as if he was looking at treasures. Jojo only had one thought in his mind. Protect them. They have to be protected. After the second monster ranch was built, these black-tailed fog scorpions would become his personal weapon factory. Chapter 33. Killing the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. Jojo's side undoubtedly had the advantage judging from the situation. Jojo had twice the forces of the black-tailed fog scorpion and they were forcing most of the scorpions to appear above ground. The black-tailed fog scorpion's forte was in sneak attacks. When above ground, they had less combat power than the desert fog lizards. Therefore, the black-tailed fog scorpions on the ground were basically beaten up by Jojo's soldiers. The black-tailed fog scorpions which stayed underground were also at a disadvantage since the soldiers had blood eye, which allowed them to see them even when they were underground. The soldiers could, therefore, often discover and dodge any sneak attack in advance, making the success rate of the black-tailed fog scorpion sneak attack extremely low. Their only threat was their black-tailed scorpion poison. Even though the soldiers were wearing military armor that could cover most of their bodies, there were still some places that could not be protected. Jojo had already seen many soldiers accidentally being stung by the black-tailed fog scorpions and showing signs of being poisoned. Jojo pondered for a moment before his gaze landed on his 3 sand spearmen. With a thought, the 3 sand spearmen immediately transformed into 3 sand cavalry. Then, Jojo ordered them to charge into the battlefield and bring the poisoned soldiers and the dead black-tailed fog scorpion corpses to him. The sand cavalry were extremely fast, coming and going like the wind. The poisoned soldiers and the corpses of the black-tailed fog scorpions were quickly delivered to Jojo. Then, he began to extract the loot from the monsters' corpses and used the antidotes in the loot to neutralize the poisoned soldiers. Every black-tailed fog scorpion had an antidote in their loot. Therefore, Jojo was not lacking in them at all. Moreover, the antidote worked extremely quickly. These poisoned soldiers were quickly cured of the poison and regained their combat strength. After thanking Jojo gratefully, they returned to the battlefield without hesitation. Time passed. Poisoned soldiers were brought to Jojo who cured them. They would then return to the battlefield. This scene became a wonder on the battlefield. The soldiers no longer had anything to worry about. Their morale soared and became even more fearless when killing the enemy. At the same time, their loyalty to Jojo began to increase collectively. Jojo also devoted himself to saving people. I, Jojo, am the strongest battlefield medic. Zhang Qianjing, who was beside him, looked at the scene with hesitation. I'm the actual doctor here. Fortunately, Jojo quickly remembered him. He gave the sand cavalry a new job, bringing back seriously injured soldiers back and handing them to Zhang Qianjing. I know how to deal with this. Zhang Qianjing immediately perked up. Thus, the two of them began to get busy. With their efforts, the number of injured soldiers on the battlefield began to decrease at a visible speed. The number of black-tailed fog scorpions' deaths was also increasing at a visible speed. Half an hour later, more than half of the 400 black-tailed fog scorpions died. Just when the soldiers thought that victory was imminent, an accident suddenly happened. The ground suddenly shook. A huge mound appeared in the desert. Then, Like a bulldozer, it rushed towards the soldiers at an extremely fast speed. The soldiers were knocked down one after another. Immediately, many people suffered injuries of varying severity. The ground cracked open. A huge black shadow jumped out from the ground and landed on the desert ground with a bang. It was a huge black-tailed fog scorpion that was 5 to 6 meters tall and more than 10 meters long. Its scarlet eyes looked at the soldiers as if they were lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Not far away, Jojo also looked at the black-tailed fog scorpion. He looked a little surprised. Logically speaking, he should be able to discover such a huge black-tailed fog scorpion through the blood eye. However, he had never seen the figure of this huge black-tailed fog scorpion in the vision of the blood eye. What is going on? He looked at it. Monster name, black-tailed fog scorpion leader, Black Spike, Scarlet Lord. Monster description, one of the 3 Scarlet Lords of the Blazing Sun Desert. He has many black-tailed fog scorpion subjects under his command. He likes to live under the desert, avoid the blazing sun, and is good at ambushing other creatures. Loots, 40 green bronze tier mist cores, drop rate, 100%, 2 origin crystals, drop rate, 100%, 1 unit to 500 units of green bronze tier advanced grade black-tailed fog scorpion leader's flesh, drop rate, 20% 0.05%, 1 black iron tier advanced grade black-tailed fog scorpion leader's poison sac, drop rate, 5%, 1 green bronze tier advanced grade blood cleansing pill, drop rate, 0.5%, 1 green bronze tier advanced grade skill book, deadly state, drop rate, 0.1%, 20 gradeless poison crossbow. Soldier class change certificate, drop rate, 0.1%, 10 green bronze tier advanced grade poison crossbow soldier recruitment book, drop rate, 0.1%, 1 green bronze tier advanced grade black-tailed scorpion king crossbow, drop rate, 0.01%, 1 black iron tier advanced grade potion recipe, blood cleansing pill, drop rate, 0.05%, 8 black iron tier advanced grade lord talent crystal fragments, drop rate, 0%. Nazario let out an excited cry next to Jojo. Jojo did not stop at this time. Nazario quickly flew above the black-tailed fog scorpion. Roar. Accompanying the roar was an immature yet incomparably dignified dragon might. The suppression from the top-notch dragon bloodline immediately made the black-tailed fog scorpion leader realize that it could not move in horror. Nazario's red dragon eyes looked at it and suddenly opened his dragon mouth. A faint red light appeared in its mouth. The next second, the scorching magma dragon breath spewed out and directly rushed towards the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. The black-tailed fog scorpion finally broke free from the influence of the dragon might. It crawled into the sand in a panic and disappeared from the ground at an extremely fast speed. Regardless, the magma dragon breath still melted a quarter of its body into magma, causing it to be severely injured. That excited Nazario. It was the first time it had seen a monster that could break free from its dragon might. It was about to give chase when it suddenly froze on the spot. Jojo narrowed his eyes slightly. In its vision, after the black-tailed fog scorpion leader drilled into the ground, its blood energy disappeared again. It was as if it had disappeared into thin air. It seems to be able to hide its blood energy and even other information that can expose its location, Jojo speculated. At the same time, Nazario landed on the ground as well. It looked at the ground under its feet and observed for a moment, but it could not find any traces of the other party. However, its powerful perception could sense that the other party was still nearby. Jojo and Nazario shared telepathy, so he knew this information as well. He thought for a moment. He got the 3 sand cavalrymen to protect him. Then, he walked into the battlefield and used mental manipulation to control the 2 elite black-tailed fog scorpions. Then, he controlled them to dive underground to find their previous boss. Jojo closed his eyes, switching his perspective to the two black-tailed fog scorpions. A moment later, from the perspective of the two black-tailed fog scorpions, a huge black-tailed fog scorpion leader was lurking in the sand. A quarter of its body had already disappeared. Its remaining body was hidden in the sand and did not move. Its entire body's smell and vital signs were completely in a dead state. It also saw the two black-tailed fog scorpions. After a glance, it quietly sent a message. SHHH. The two black-tailed fog scorpions looked at each other and quietly came under it. They aimed at it and used their stingers ruthlessly. Ready, aim, sting. Nazario was still searching the ground for the location of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. After it found it, it planned to use the magma dragon breath to spit out a hole in the ground and melt it in the sand. Its master had high hopes, it could not disappoint him. The black-tailed fog scorpion, which only had 3/4 of its body left, suddenly jumped out of the ground. It jumped more than 10 meters high and let out a piercing scream. Nazario opened its mouth and spat out another magma dragon breath in surprise. The black body burned in scarlet hot dragon breath. Your pet lava dragon, Nazario, has killed the black-tailed fog scorpion leader, Scarlet Lord, Black Spike. Promotion energy plus 80. Loot had condensed. Chapter 34. The shocking effect of the Lord Talent Crystal Fragment. Jojo's heart skipped a beat when he saw the black-tailed fog scorpion leader submerged in Nazario's lava dragon breath. He quickly stopped Nazario so that the corpse did not burn away. Nazario understood immediately and stopped releasing its dragon breath. Rumble. The corpse of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader, which had already been roasted to a black-red color, fell heavily onto the desert, causing the ground to tremble slightly. Nazario looked at it for a moment, then lost interest. It turned around and flew away to help the soldiers deal with the other black-tailed fog scorpion. Jojo heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the corpse was not done burning. Otherwise, the loot inside would also be burned away. He did not immediately go over to retrieve the loot. Instead, he continued to stand where he was, waiting for the war to end. With Nazario's help, the remaining 100 or so black-tailed fog scorpions were all wiped out in less than 15 minutes. The battlefield was silent for a while before the soldiers ruptured into a cheer. Jojo and Zhang Qianjing walked into the soldiers to heal the poisoned and injured soldiers. After the situation of these soldiers stabilized, Jojo came to the charred corpse of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. The fragrance of meat tickled his appetite. This will be my dinner. He placed his hand on its corpse after confirming that it was not of unbearable temperature. The next second, a text notification appeared. Lord Talent hint, you have obtained 40 mist cores, green bronze tier, 500 units of black-tailed fog scorpion flesh, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 unit of black-tailed fog scorpion leader's poison sac, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 bottle of blood cleansing pills, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 skill book, deadly state, black iron tier advanced grade, 20 poison crossbowman class change certificates, gradeless, 10 poison crossbowman recruitment books, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 black scorpion king crossbow, black iron tier advanced grade, 1 potion formula, blood cleansing pills, black iron tier advanced grade, 2 origin crystals, 8 Lord Talent crystal fragments, black iron tier advanced grade. A huge drop. Envy appeared on some of the faces of the surrounding soldiers, but most of them looked up at Jojo with even more admiration. Jojo was already used to such scenes. He began to inspect the loot calmly. There was naturally no need to mention the green bronze tier mist cores, the flesh of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader, the poison sac, and the poison crossbow soldier class change certificates. The effect of the poison crossbow soldier recruitment book was the same as the sword shield soldier recruitment book. They could summon professionals from the gate of summoning. However, these recruitment books would recruit higher level beginner soldiers, the poison crossbow soldiers. Then, there was the green bronze tier advanced grade skill book, Dead State. Skill name, Dead State. Skill quality, green bronze tier advanced grade. Skill description, conceal your scent, gaze, voice, breathing, mental activity, blood energy fluctuations, energy aura, and other traces that might expose you to the greatest extent. Allow you to enter a dead state and become like a corpse, thereby reducing the possibility of other living beings discovering you. No wonder they couldn't find any traces of the other party the moment it entered the desert. They couldn't even see it with their blood eyes. So it was the effect of dead state. Good stuff. Jojo learned it on the spot. With a 100% drop rate, he was destined to obtain countless treasures and lord talents in the future. The closer he got to the later stages of the overlord competition, the stronger he would become after grasping many treasures and overlord talents. Therefore, this kind of survival skill was what he needed the most. After learning it, he looked at the next loot. The formula for the blood cleansing pill and the medicine bottle containing 20 blood cleansing pills. Potion recipe name, blood cleansing pill. Recipe quality, green bronze tier advanced grade. Recipe effect, you can master the refining method of the blood cleansing pill after using it. The blood cleansing pill can remove most poisons below the white silver tier. It can also relieve and control some white silver tier blood infecting toxins. Recipe material, clear spirit flower, green bronze tier advanced grade, purple leaf grass, green bronze tier intermediate grade, black crow ginseng, green bronze tier intermediate grade, blood clotting grass, black iron tier advanced grade. Formula description, beginner level antidote. It can heal and control most low-level poisons below the white silver tier. Learning requirement, it can only be learned by physicians, herbalists, pharmacists, alchemists, and other herb-related life professions. This should be an advanced level antidote. Jojo thought. He had also read the formula for the black iron tier advanced grade antidote he had obtained from the elite black iron tier advanced grade. The effect was similar to the blood cleansing pill, however, the level of detoxification was different. The black iron tier advanced grade antidote could only cure most black iron tier poison, while this blood cleansing pill could cure most poisons below the white silver tier. No doubt, the blood cleansing pill had a wider healing range, but it was also more expensive to make. He did not think too much about it as he continued to look at the next loot. Equipment grade, green bronze tier advanced grade. Equipment effect 1, power of the king's crossbow. When shooting the arrow, the Black Scorpion King's crossbow will give the arrow 5 times the strength, speed, range, penetration, and lethality of the arrow. It will also carry the poison of the black-tailed fog scorpion, which is above green bronze tier advanced grade. It can poison ordinary monsters below white silver tier to death. Equipment effect 2, arrow of death. When the user shoots a crossbow bolt, the Black Scorpion King crossbow will automatically hide all the user's physical characteristics and shoot a silent arrow, killing the enemy. Introduction, the rare equipment dropped by the black-tailed mist scorpion leader, Black Spike. It is a top-grade equipment that green bronze tier crossbow soldiers dream of. Good equipment. Equipment effect 1 was equivalent to providing an unlimited number of Black Scorpion poisonous arrows. Moreover, it was a Black Scorpion poisonous arrow with green bronze tier advanced grade. Equipment effect 2 even had a deathly silence skill. The effects of the two equipment were both top grade. I can give this to Bai Yi. Jojo thought. Even though he liked this equipment very much, he did not need to go out to fight personally as a lord. Also, he was not a crossbow type soldier. Keeping it would only cause this treasure to be covered in dust. He might as well give it to Bai Yi and let it play a greater role. It would also allow Bai Yi to serve him better. Then, he looked at the origin crystal he had seen for the first time. This was a thumb-sized hexagonal golden crystal that emitted a faint warm heat when held in his hand. Item name, origin crystal. Item level, special. Item effect, one of the necessary resources to upgrade the territory. Only some Scarlet Lords and special fog monsters can drop it. Item description: a rare and indispensable promotion resource for a lord. Do we actually need this to upgrade our territory? He valued this resource even more. He solemnly put it into his spatial ring and looked at the last loot. They were 8 cube-shaped crystals that emitted a black iron glow. Treasure name: Lord Talent Crystal Fragment. Grade: Black Iron Tier. Treasure ability 1, gather 10 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and fuse them into a complete Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal. It can awaken an unknown Black Iron Tier Lord Talent. Treasure ability 2, gather 10 Black Iron level Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals and fuse them into a Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal. It can allow a Lord with a Black Iron level Lord Talent to upgrade his Lord Talent to a Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent. The subsequent fusion effects, and so on. Introduction: the treasure that Lords dream of. Chapter 35. Organizing the Harvest. Thousands of soldier professionals. Jojo was completely stunned. Not only does this Lord Talent Crystal Fragment awaken the Lord Talent, it could also upgrade the Lord Talent. Jojo had another bold idea. If he obtained 1 billion Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, wouldn't he be able to fuse a mythical Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal directly? If he used it again, wouldn't his legendary Tier Lord Talent evolve into a mythical Tier Lord Talent? Wait. No. If I had the mythical Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal, why would I level up the 100% drop rate? Wouldn't it be better to directly awaken a brand new mythical Tier Lord Talent? Jojo suddenly realized the error of his ways and started fantasizing before coming back to his senses. He looked at the 8 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments in his hand and sighed. 1 billion of them. So far away. He might not even be able to afford it even after the Battle of the Overlords. It was better not to think so far ahead. There are billions of Cerulean Planet Lords and many of them haven't awakened their Lord Talents. Could it be because they didn't form a complete Lord Talent crystal in their bodies? Jojo suddenly thought of this problem. The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed. He then called 5 sword shield soldiers and walked into the Lord's wooden house. He checked it and found that there was nothing good to take away with them. He then turned his attention to the territory stone tablet and realized that it was a Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade territory stone tablet. Smash it! Jojo ordered. The 5 sword shield soldiers went forward to swing their swords. They took half an hour to break the stone tablet with an endurance of 10,000 points, revealing the territory token inside. Jojo stepped forward and placed his hand on the territory token. The Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade territory token immediately fell into his hands the next second. Jojo looked at the territory token with a smile on his face. He had 2 territory tokens in his possession. He just had to obtain another piece and his territory could be upgraded again. We've to continue fighting. Jojo thought. My lord. I have something to report. At this moment, Bai Yi's voice came from outside. Come in. He said casually. Bai Yi walked in. I've something to report, my lord. The soldiers couldn't even find a unit of basic resources after searching for so long. It's like there are no resources here. Her expression was a little ugly. Surely not. It was the territory of a Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Scarlet Lord after all. It should have developed for a period of time since it could upgrade its territory to Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. How could it not have any basic resources? Did you search the underground? Jojo suddenly said. Bai Yi immediately reacted and joy appeared on her face. That's right. There is indeed a high chance that they will place their development resources under the desert with their habits. I am a fool. I'll send people to search for them again right away. We'll definitely find all the loot here even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Catch a black-tailed fog scorpion alive and let me question it. Jojo possessed the racial skill, mental perception, where he could vaguely sense the thoughts of living creatures. It would be all too easy to get information from the enemy when coupled with the mental manipulation skill. Roger. Bai Yi left, and a moment later, an elite black-tailed fog scorpion with its legs and tail severed was sent over. After Jojo used mental manipulation and mental perception on it, he found where the territory's treasure trove was. Bai Yi immediately led soldiers who knew the sand stealth technique to the location and successfully retrieved all the loot from underground. They obtained 2,000 units of wood, 1,500 units of stone, 800 units of fine sand, 500 units of metal, 156 black iron tier mist cores, and 25 green bronze tier mist cores in total. They even found a green bronze tier intermediate grade medical hall blueprint, even though it was of little use to Jojo. With Zhao Changshao, a white platinum tier intermediate grade architect, around, he no longer cared about ordinary blueprints below white platinum tier intermediate grade. However, he could give this blueprint to Qian Du as a reward when he was promoted to a green bronze tier intermediate grade architect. Jojo felt that there was nothing to occupy here. He placed all the loot on the small wooden cart and left with the soldiers and convoy as usual. 2 hours later, in the Lord's wooden house, Jojo was sorting out the gains and losses of this battle. They had killed a total of 465 black-tailed fog scorpions in this battle. Among them was a green bronze tier advanced grade black-tailed fog scorpion leader, Scarlet Lord, 2 elite green bronze tier intermediate grade black-tailed fog scorpions, 5 elite green bronze tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpions, 29 elite black iron tier advanced grade black-tailed fog scorpion, 118 black iron tier intermediate grade black-tailed fog scorpions, and 310 black iron tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpions. On Jojo's side, it was a miracle that only 3 soldiers died in battle. 12 were seriously injured and 56 were slightly injured. Their battle damage ratio was terrifyingly high. It was because of 4 key reasons. First, they had more troops on their side, double the number of black-tailed fog scorpions. Second, the success rate of the black-tailed fog scorpion sneak attacks were greatly reduced because of the blood eye. Third, Jojo and Zhang Qianjing were constantly healing and neutralizing poisons on the battlefield, reducing the casualties. Last but not least, Nazario had eliminated the black-tailed fog lizard leader and its green bronze tier black-tailed fog scorpions with higher combat power. Jojo had also obtained a large number of rewards from this battle that surprised him. This included 83 green bronze tier mist cores, 1,324 black iron tier mist cores, 13,820 units of flesh, black iron tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade, 150 units of green bronze tier elementary grade, 100 units of green bronze tier intermediate grade, 500 units of green bronze tier advanced grade, 465 portions of the black-tailed fog scorpion's poison sac, black iron tier and green bronze tier, 389 bottles of antidotes, black iron tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade, 8 bottles of blood cleansing pills. Green bronze tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade, 540 poison crossbowman class change certificates, 175 poison crossbowman recruitment books, 29 black iron tier advanced grade black scorpion crossbows, 5 black iron tier elementary grade black scorpion crossbows, 2 black iron tier intermediate grade black scorpion crossbows and 7 sets of blood cleansing pill potion formulas, 5 sets of green bronze tier elementary grade and 2 sets of green bronze tier intermediate grade. Jojo stored all the loot into the Emperor of Sand's spatial ring. Then, he walked out of the Lord's wooden house and came to the Gate of Summoning, once again throwing all 175 poison crossbow soldier recruitment books in. The next second, poisonous crossbowmen filed out of the Gate of Summoning one after the other. After bowing respectfully to Jojo, they lined up behind him until no one else emerged from the gate. A total of 175 poisonous crossbowmen appeared. The number of soldiers under my command has officially broken through to 1041, to be precise. A smile appeared on Jojo's face. Chapter 36. Purchasing materials. Linger's opportunity. Jojo was very satisfied with the gains from this expedition against the Scarlet Lord. The fragment of the Lord's talent crystal did not disappoint him even though he did not obtain a new Lord talent. Jojo opened the marketplace and frowned slightly. More lords are selling black iron tier elementary grade meat. Its price has begun to decline. More lords would be able to be self-sufficient and can even sell excess meat in the marketplace as time goes by. Jojo muttered to himself as he began to set up a new deal. The content of this deal was different from before. This time, he would release a total of 30,000 units of flesh, 15,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat, 5,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpion meat and 10,000 units of black iron tier intermediate grade desert fog lizard. At this stage, there were still very few lords who sold black iron tier intermediate grade meat and not a single lord was selling meat from black iron tier advanced grade monsters. The higher the level of the meat, the more promotion energy they contained after all. Which lord would be willing to sell the meat of rare high-level monsters to others unless he had excess which could not be preserved for a long time? Most did not even have enough for themselves. The reason why Jojo did this was because the ingredients he wanted this time were ingredients to make the antidote and the blood cleansing pill that he had just obtained today. These two potions were both high-level potions. The medicinal herbs needed to make them were mostly black iron tier advanced grade or even green bronze tier medicinal herbs. That was why Jojo took out higher level meat to trade. Soon, the deal he announced attracted the attention of countless lords again. As the number of views increased rapidly, his deal once again topped the list of deals viewed. The other lords on the World Channel were also having a heated discussion. Oh my god, 30,000 units of monster meat? Did Big Boss Blazing Sun destroy another monster kingdom? 10,000 units of black iron tier intermediate grade monster meat. Good lord, Big Boss Blazing Sun shocks me every time he attacks. The Great Desert Fog Lizard has made an indelible contribution to the development of the Big Boss Blazing Sun. Desert Fog Lizard, thank you. Because of you, the 4 seasons have been warmed. Am I the only one who noticed that there's an extra type of meat called the black-tailed fog scorpion this time? Desert Fog Lizard, welcome, new members, to the development of Big Boss Blazing Sun. The price of this meat is too expensive. The other lords have already lowered their prices, so how can he still maintain such high prices? Everyone, stand up and boycott this profiteer. Don't buy from him. That's right. We can't let the profiteers be so arrogant. Profiteer. Jojo could not be bothered with such comments. Meat was still in short supply in the market even though there were more lords selling them now. It was far from reaching an equilibrium between supply and demand. If these people did not buy his high-priced flesh, other lords would. He did not have to worry about not being able to sell them. He could actually also use the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate to buy these materials, but he was unwilling to do so. What if he were to have a large population one day? When the time comes, these Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates could be quickly converted into real military strength. Suddenly, he saw some different news on the World Channel. 2 or 3 lords were discussing the Dragon Lady. This morning, the Dragon Lady had used the World Channel's live broadcast function to broadcast the entire process of her taking down a foreign race lord's territory. It had broadened the horizons of all the lords. It made her even more famous. At the same time, it also alerted all the lords. The Novice Lord Protective Barrier is not invincible. No matter how strong the Novice Lord Protective Barrier was, if a lord were to court death, it would not be able to protect him. Jojo was a little surprised by the Dragon Lady's situation, but that was all. He had already conquered 3 territories. The Dragon Lady's conquest was not too shabby, but her epic tier lord talent was indeed worthy of his attention. At the same time, hundreds of millions of kilometers away, in the spiritual medicine city, Ling who was in the divine herb garden, was dumbfounded when she saw the new deal initiated by the Lord of the Blazing Sunday. She bought some medicinal ingredients to create the blood eye yesterday. She wanted to be able to provide her big brother Blazing Sun with an endless supply of medicinal ingredients to create the blood eye from now on. A day had barely passed and big brother Blazing Sun needed new medicinal ingredients. Ling suddenly smiled. Looks like big brother Blazing Sun has become stronger again. She immediately opened the marketplace and bought some medicinal herbs to make antidotes and blood cleansing pills. As long as she had the seeds and the ability of her divine herb garden, having a steady stream of mature medicinal herbs every day was not a dream. She wanted to be big brother Blazing Sun's only supplier of medicinal herbs. Not to monopolize him, for she did not know anything about monopolies. She just wanted to be closer to this big brother who was willing to chat with her. She opened the Lord of the Blazing Sun's chat and sent a message to him nervously. Spiritual Medicine Lord, is Big Brother Blazing Sun here? The reply came after a short while. Lord of the Blazing Sun, yes, the herbs are ripe again. Spirit Medicine Lord, yep. This time, Linger prepared 1,000 sets of medicinal ingredients for Big Brother Blazing Sun's life potions, 300 sets of medicinal ingredients for the energy potion, and 300 sets of medicinal ingredients for the blood eye potion. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I want them all. Let's discuss the price. Spiritual Medicine Lord, is 10 sets of potion for 1 sword shield soldier class change certificate alright? Lord of the Blazing Sun, yes. It was more than alright? This pricing was no different from the price of cabbage. Jojo did not want to take advantage of the child, but when he thought about the ridiculously effective divine herb garden, he suddenly felt that he could accept such a price. Nonetheless, he secretly decided that he would help Linger to the best of his ability in the future. He suddenly thought of something and immediately typed. Lord of the Blazing Sun, all the people in your territory have changed their professions to sword shield soldiers, right? Spiritual Medicine Lord, yes. My subjects dare to go out and explore during the day now. They even dare to fight the monsters head on. Thank you, Big Brother. Lord of the Blazing Sun, in that case, you won't be able to use the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate even if I give you more, right? Why don't I trade something else with you? Jojo definitely could not be bothered to say these words if it was someone else. Who cares if you can use it or not? However, Jojo asked out of concern since Linger was willing to trade herbs with him at such a good price. He was willing to respond to Linger's kindness with his own kindness. However, the Spiritual Medicine Lord's next words stunned Jojo. Spiritual Medicine Lord, it's alright? There's an indigenous force called Green Valley City near my territory. Refugees have been coming to my place every day for the past 2 days. 8 people came yesterday, and another 14 people came today. They're all willing to become Linger subjects. Spiritual Medicine Lord, there should be more refugees coming tomorrow, so Big Brother Blazing Sun doesn't have to worry that Linger won't be able to use them. Jojo was confused on the other side of the chat. How could this be? He was short of non-military professionals. Zhao Changshao even needed to build houses himself. She had people going to her for free. Jojo completed the transaction with Linger with mixed feelings. He had obtained 1,600 portions of medicinal herbs that Linger had specially cultivated for him. On the other hand, Linger obtained 160 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates. Jojo was about to ask for the details when Bai Yi's voice came from outside. I've something to report, my lord. There's a gnome outside. He said that he heard of my lord's reputation and yearned to become your subject. He specially came from afar to join the Blazing Sun City. He doesn't seem simple. My lord, do you want to take a look? It sounded familiar to Jojo for some reason. Then it clicked. This was a talent attracted by the reputation rating. He immediately walked out of the Lord's wooden house. Chapter 37. Talent with extraordinary potential. You call this a repair? Jojo found a gnome which looked similar to Ashburn with a white robe. That gnome was studying Jojo and the territory behind him curiously. Greetings, my lord. The gnome retracted his gaze and said respectfully. His voice was tender, revealing that he was a young gnome. Hi, I heard that you want to join my territory. Jojo asked curiously. Yes. I've just finished my apprenticeship. I originally wanted to stay in the Aurora Kingdom and appreciate the local customs around me while looking for a lord worthy for me to submit to. I heard that you conquered a foreign lord territory and a Scarlet Lord's territory in just 3 days upon arriving in the High Continent. In the eyes of many living beings including myself and my teacher this is extremely unbelievable, but it's precisely because of this that my lord's strength and potential shines. That's why I came to see my lord. If possible, I want to submit myself to my lord. I wonder if my lord is willing to accept a newly minted blacksmith like me. Carter Jim asked expectantly. Carter Jim requests to join your territory and become your subject. Do you agree? Blacksmith. Jojo was stunned but delighted. Coincidentally, the soldiers had been fighting non-stop recently, and many of their armor and weapons were damaged. They could only continue using the damaged armor and weapons because there were no blacksmiths. That solved everything. The damaged weapons and armor could be repaired with this new gnome blacksmith. Welcome to Blazing Sun City. Jojo agreed readily. After calming down, he looked at the other party's delicate figure and suddenly hesitated. This size, no matter how he looked at him, he did not seem to be the size of a blacksmith. He looked at the other party, and his message appeared in his eyes. Subject, Carter Kim. Life profession, blacksmith. Professional class, yellow gold tier advanced grade. Ability overview, a genius in the path of blacksmithing, the last disciple of the master military craftsman, Gibbon Vela. His body contains the bloodline of the mountain giant. Under his gentle and shy appearance, there is a burning heart that swings a sledgehammer. Skills, mountain giant bloodline, talent, earth elemental affinity, extraordinary tier Gilburn forging technique 36 forms, incomplete mastery, yellow gold tier advanced grade equipment repair skill, yellow gold tier advanced grade equipment carving skill, yellow gold tier advanced grade equipment military aesthetic theory, pure iron forging skill, steel forging skill, equipment manufacturing, archer equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, crossbowman equipment. Yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, cavalry equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, sword shield soldier equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, spearman equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, Pudeo soldier equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, firearm soldier equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade. Loyalty, 88. Potential, extraordinary tier intermediate grade. He did not expect this young gnome's potential to be extraordinary tier intermediate grade. Even though he was currently inferior to Elder Zhao. This was a future extraordinary tier blacksmith. Moreover, Jojo was very satisfied with the other party's skills. They were all forging skills related to military equipment. To any lord, a blacksmith with so many standard equipment forging skills was undoubtedly the most practical. Moreover, the other party had his own talent and bloodline. As expected of a talent attracted by reputation rating. My lord, do we have a blacksmith shop in our territory? Carter Kim asked curiously. Not at the moment, but you can have it tomorrow if you want one. Jojo smiled. He then called over a soldier and asked him to bring Zhao Changshao and Elder Zhao over. Zhao Changshao came over in no time. "My lord. You were looking for me?" he asked. Jojo was about to speak when a surprised voice sounded from the other side. "Teacher Zhao, you're here too." Carter Kim looked at Zhao Changshao in surprise. Zhao Changshao's gaze also fell on him. Then, he said in surprise, "Little Carter? Shouldn't you be at Master Gibbon's place? Why are you here?" "I've finished my apprenticeship," Carter Jim said shyly. "Not bad. You didn't let your teacher down to be able to graduate at such a young age." "Oh yes. How's your teacher doing?" Zhao Changshao clicked his tongue in wonder. "Teacher has been in good health recently. Just that she talks about you all day long," Carter Jim said politely. "I'll visit her when I'm free." Zhao Changshao smiled. "So you know each other?" Jojo said in surprise. "This little guy's teacher and I are good friends in the Aurora Kingdom. I designed her residence myself. We became even closer after we retired because we see each other a lot. So I got to know her precious disciple." Zhao Changshao smiled. Jojo nodded and then became thoughtful. It seemed that the Aurora Kingdom was very close to his territory. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so coincidental that both of the legendary tier talents came from the Aurora Kingdom. "Elder Zhao, Carter has already become a subject of Blazing Sun City. I asked you to come over this time because I want you to help him build a yellow gold tier advanced grade blacksmith shop," Jojo said. "Does my lord have yellow gold tier mist cores?" Zhao Changshao was stunned. "No, why?" Jojo replied. "Building a yellow gold tier advanced grade blacksmith shop requires 100 yellow gold tier advanced grade mist cores. Jojo, I think the black iron tier advanced grade blacksmith shop is good enough for now." Zhao Changshao and Carter immediately agreed. The awkward atmosphere quickly disappeared amidst laughter. "My lord, this female general's armor seems to be damaged. Would you allow me to repair it?" Carter looked at Bai Yi's armor and said to Jojo. It was more than just being damaged. Bai Yi was still wearing the black iron tier elementary grade poison crossbowman armor that came with her class change, which was completely incompatible with her current strength. "Go and change it out." Jojo nodded. Bai Yi thanked him and went back to change her clothes. When she returned, she had her standard armor folded in her hands as she was wearing her own casual clothes. Carter Jim took out a simple forging platform from his spatial ring and placed it on the ground. Then, he lit it up. Then, the other party picked up the hammer that was 3 times his height. The size of the hammer did not match his height at all. Jojo was afraid that he would not be able to handle it. "Lord, please be mentally prepared." At this moment, Zhao Changshao leaned over and whispered. Jojo did not know what he meant until he saw Carter Jim in action. Carter Jim took a deep breath. Gwar. A tangible white circular airflow spread out from under his feet, accompanied by a suppressed growl. The ground shook slightly. Gravels trembled and floated from the ground. Carter Jim's body began to grow at a visible speed under Jojo and Bai Yi's dumbfounded gazes. Soon, his entire body had become 5 to 6 meters tall with his muscles bulging. The white robe he was wearing earlier now looked like a scarf wrapped around his neck. The hammer that was nearly 2 meters long looked like a wooden stick in his hand. Jojo and Bai Yi's expressions froze for a few seconds. Carter Jim began to forge. The loud sound of hammers being swung echoed throughout the entire territory, and almost everyone looked over. Even Ashburn, who was always in the gnome alchemy workshop, came out to watch the giant forge armor. During the forging process, he would occasionally throw a few ores into the armor. "It's done. The time is tight, so I only repaired the original armor, which is why I couldn't maximize the effect of the equipment. I hope you don't mind." Carter was embarrassed as he handed the armor to Bai Yi. "Thank you so much for fixing it." Bai Yi took it and thanked him. Jojo also looked at it. Equipment name, Poison Crossbow Soldier Standard Armor, Strengthened. Equipment effect, Standard Armor of the Poison Crossbow Soldiers. It can withstand 30% of the impact from the outside world and effectively prevent sharp weapons from attacking. After being repaired and upgraded by a blacksmith, it can slightly resist white silver tier elementary grade damage from the outside world. Introduction, the standard armor of the poison crossbowman. It was reforged by an outstanding blacksmith and its defense was strengthened. Jojo and Bai Yi's mouths fell agape. Then, they looked at the shy Carter Jim. Good God! It was directly upgraded from a black iron tier elementary grade equipment to green bronze tier advanced grade equipment. You call this a repair? Chapter 38. 50 Mechanostriders. The second monster ranch. Your blacksmithing skills are indeed great. You'll probably catch up with your teacher in a few years. Zhao Changshao stroked his beard and smiled. It's just a basic operation. I'm still far from my teacher. Carter Jim reverted to his gnome form and said shyly. This time, Zhao Changshao did not say anything. Gibbon Vela was an extraordinary tier advanced grade master blacksmith. He was indeed far inferior comparatively. At this moment, Jojo also came back to his senses. He looked at Carter Jim with shining eyes, as if he was looking at a treasure. In the future, you will be in charge of upgrading and repairing the equipment in our territory. Our soldiers are all wearing the most basic black iron tier elementary grade equipment. Many people's standard equipment can no longer match their strength. I need people like you to help them. Jojo patted Carter Jim's shoulder, looking like he had entrusted him with an important task. I will do my best. Carter Jim said seriously. He was akin to a young man who had mastered the skills of a military craftsman. Even though he was shy, he yearned to follow a virtuous leader and create a great career. This was also one of the reasons why he came here to train himself. How many sets of standard equipment can you upgrade in a day? You don't have to upgrade them too much, perhaps to green bronze tier elementary grade at best. Jojo asked. If it doesn't exceed the green bronze tier elementary grade, then it's very simple. I can upgrade about 50 sets a day. Carter Jim said. Jojo clicked his tongue. Upgrading 50 sets a day, this efficiency was ridiculous. However, Jojo could somewhat understand given his mountain giant transformation just now. Jojo asked for the list of ores and materials needed to upgrade the equipment. According to Carter Jim, there were only two materials required. Pure iron and fine steel. Forging low-level standard equipment mainly depends on the forger's skills and repeated tempering. There's no need for too complicated ores. Carter Jim said shyly, noticing Jojo's doubtful expression. Jojo nodded. He immediately opened the marketplace and used 10,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat to buy these two types of ore materials. The price he set was 5 units of pure iron or 10 units of steel for every unit of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat. This price was still very high. However, there were too many cerulean planet lords, so he did not have to worry about not being able to obtain the materials. At this moment he noticed Ashburn wearing a doubtful expression on his face. Jojo asked Zhao Changshao to arrange a place for Carter Jim to stay before he went to Ashburn's side. What are you looking at? Jojo asked Ashburn while patting his shoulder. My lord, is he a gnome too? Ashburn looked at Carter Jim in the distance and couldn't help but ask. He's a gnome with the blood of a mountain giant. Jojo answered. A gnome that actually has the bloodline of a mountain giant. I've learned something new. Ashburn sighed, feeling much better. Jojo was also very emotional. What was Carter Jim's mountain giant parent thinking? Lucky that I ran into you. Can you use this? Jojo handed the formulas for the antidote and blood cleansing pill to Ashburn. Ashburn was already used to seeing new formulas, so he wasn't surprised. He looked at it twice before he quickly shook his head. My apologies, my lord. I'm an alchemist. Making some alchemy potions is my limit. This is a potion formula specially prepared for orthodox pharmacists. I can't learn it. Jojo was stunned. Ashburn was dead loyal to him, so there was no way he would lie to him. He must really be unable to learn it then. Jojo could only put them away, even though he did not feel that it was a pity. He could totally build a second monster ranch to nurture the black-tailed fog scorpion now that he had origin crystals. He could completely obtain antidotes and blood-cleansing pills through the monster ranch since Ashburn didn't know anything about them. Not only was this method simpler, there was also no need to buy the corresponding medicinal herbs from the marketplace. My lord, I just made 50 mechanostriders. Would you like to take a look? Ashburn asked. Let's go. Jojo immediately said. Mechanostriders were a very important part of his development plan. They arrived at the alchemy warehouse that housed a total of 50 neatly arranged mechanostriders, making this place look like an armory. Well done. Jojo could not help but praise Ashburn. It's my duty to serve the Lord. Ashburn said elegantly. Jojo smiled and nodded. Then, he asked Bai Yi to call someone over to bring the 50 mechanostriders out. He ordered for 10 of the mechanostriders to be used specifically for the transportation of loot. The remaining 40 of them were given to the scout team and were in charge of exploring the surrounding environment of the territory. Bai Yi was already prepared for this. She immediately found 40 smart soldiers to join the scout team and got them familiarized with the mechanostrider. More than an hour later, all the soldiers had mastered the operation of the mechanostriders. Jojo got them to head out of the territory under Bai Yi's lead to explore the environment outside the territory. Wu Tu, the cartographer recruited this morning, was among them. My lord. I will definitely become the vice captain. Wu Tu shouted at Jojo in the distance before they left. Jojo smiled and nodded before looking for Jonkang again. At this moment, Jojo's first subject and also the first sword shield soldier in the territory was already at the green bronze tier elementary grade. Jojo asked him to leave 100 soldiers behind and lead the remaining 890 soldiers in clearing the remaining fog monsters outside the territory. Jonkang accepted the order and left. Half an hour later, in the Lord's wooden house, Jojo, who was diving in the World Channel, suddenly realized that the 2 deals he had set up were completed. He had obtained a total of 60,000 units of stone, 50,000 units of wood, 110,000 units of fine sand, and 80,000 units of metal. 600 mechanostrider crafting materials, 2,000 life potion crafting materials, 800 energy potion crafting materials, 600 golden corpse water crafting materials, 1,200 blood eye crafting materials, 36,000 units of pure iron and 28,000 units of steel, 500 sets of antidotes, 250 sets of blood cleansing pills. Other than that, he also bought some random materials. He could trade all 40,000 units of meat, leaving him with a little less than 20,000 units. Jojo looked at the materials he had bought, feeling a little emotional. This was the disadvantage of desert territory. He had to buy raw materials if he wanted to make something. He could be completely self-sufficient if he was in a territory rich in resources. However, he did not blame anyone. He was already in a much better position when compared to the lords who could not even solve their survival problems. Jojo found Zhao Changshao again before they jointly looked for Mugu together to discuss the construction of the second monster ranch. Zhao Changshao was pleasantly surprised when he knew that he was going to participate in the construction of a special building. This was left unnoticed by Jojo as he waved his right hand. 3,000 units of wood, 3,000 units of fine sand, 3,000 units of metal, 3,000 units of stone ingredients, and 1,000 units of black iron mist core appeared out of thin air. Then, he took out an origin crystal and handed it to Mugu. I'll leave the second monster ranch to Elder Zhao and you. The second monster ranch will be used to nurture the black-tailed fog scorpions. I've left you 100 soldiers, get them to build it for you. Can Monster Ranch be built by tonight with them around? Jojo asked. No problem. Mugu and Zhao Changshao exchanged confirmation nods before replying to Jojo. Its current grade would just be a little higher than Black Iron Tier Advanced grade even though the Monster Ranch was a special building. They were confident that it would be completed before night fell with enough manpower. Jojo nodded and left. Time passed quickly. Night gradually fell. The scarlet fog gradually appeared in the air. However, since the surrounding Scarlet Lords had been destroyed, no new monsters were born. Not long after, Jojo, who was shopping in the Lord's wooden house, suddenly received a report from a soldier. Bai Yi had already brought 50 soldiers back to the territory with information they had obtained about the surrounding environment of the territory. Part 2 of the series ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe so we can be motivated to make even better videos in the future.